You are vulnerable. Every criticism penetrates. Every insult lands. Every attack disturbs your peace and destabilizes your confidence. This vulnerability is making you controllable, easy to manipulate, simple to break. But mental armor is possible. Psychological immunity to the attacks that wound everyone else. The ability to remain unmoved by criticism, unbothered by insults, unaffected by attempts to disturb you. This audiobook will teach you to build that armor. The mental fortification that makes you genuinely untouchable. Stop being wounded by words. Start building armor that nothing penetrates. Invulnerability begins with training. Chapter 1. You are mentally vulnerable. Recognize the defenseless state. You have no mental armor, no psychological protection, no emotional immunity, no defensive fortification, no protective shield, no mental walls, no psychological barriers, no emotional defenses. Every criticism wounds. Every insult damages. Every attack penetrates. Every judgment affects. Every negative comment disturbs. Every harsh word hurts. Every disapproval stings. Every rejection pains. That is the key. Your mind is unarmored, unprotected, unfortified, unshielded, undefended, unwalled, unbarriered, exposed, like body without skin, like castle without walls, like soldier without armor, like city without defenses, like fortress without fortification, completely exposed, totally vulnerable, absolutely defenseless. Someone criticizes your work. You feel wounded, feel diminished, feel inadequate, feel hurt. Someone insults your appearance. You feel damaged, feel ugly, feel worthless, feel destroyed. Someone attacks your character. You feel shattered, feel broken, feel devastated, feel annihilated. Someone judges your choices. You feel wrong, feel stupid, feel ashamed, feel condemned. Every attack lands. Every criticism penetrates. Every insult wounds. Every judgment affects. Every negative disturbs. This is not normal. This is not natural. This is not inevitable. This is not required. This is not permanent. This vulnerability is unarmored state. This defenselessness is unprotected condition. This sensitivity is unfortified position. This wounding is unshielded existence. You never built armor, never developed protection, never created immunity, never established fortification, never constructed shield, never erected walls, never created barriers, never built defenses. Must recognize vulnerability before building armor. Must acknowledge defenselessness before creating protection. Must see wounding before establishing immunity. Must accept exposure before constructing fortification. Must understand vulnerability before forging shield. Consider your vulnerability history honestly. Consider completely. Consider brutally. Consider transformatively. How many times have you been wounded by words? How many criticisms have penetrated your peace? How many insults have disturbed your calm? How many attacks have shaken your confidence? How many judgments have affected your self-worth? Countless times, endless instances, infinite occasions, perpetual wounding, continuous damage. You remember them. Remember clearly. Remember painfully. Remember vividly. The criticism from boss that devastated you. The insult from friend that wounded you. The attack from family that destroyed you. The judgment from stranger that affected you. Each memory is evidence. Evidence of vulnerability. Evidence of defenselessness. Evidence of lack of armor. Evidence of unprotected state. Evidence of woundable condition. You are not uniquely sensitive. You are not abnormally vulnerable. You are not exceptionally defenseless. You are normally unarmored. You are typically unprotected. You are commonly unfortified. Most people are equally vulnerable, equally defenseless, equally woundable. Why? Because most people never built armor, never developed protection, never created immunity, never established fortification, never learned invulnerability. This is normal state. This is default condition. This is standard position. This is typical existence. But normal does not mean acceptable. Default does not mean unchangeable. Standard does not mean permanent. Typical does not mean required. Can change, can transform, can armor, can protect, can fortify, can immunize, can become invulnerable. Through recognition, through training, through practice, through building, through forging. Unarmored minds bleed from every attack. Armored minds remain invulnerable. Build mental armor or stay wounded forever. Why vulnerability makes you controllable and manipulable is strategic, is tactical, is mechanical, is inevitable, is devastating. Vulnerable people are controllable people. Defenseless people are manipulable people. Unarmored people are exploitable people. Unprotected people are dominatable people. Woundable people are conquerable people. Why? Because attacks work. Because criticism controls. Because insults manipulate. Because judgment dominates. Because negativity exploits. Because words wound. People discover your vulnerability. Discover quickly. Discover easily. Discover inevitably. Discover completely. They discover what wounds you, what affects you, what disturbs you, what hurts you, what controls you. Through observation, through testing, through experimentation, through trial, through error. They criticize something. You react visibly. They note reaction. They discovered vulnerability. They found wound point. They located weakness. They identified control mechanism. Then use vulnerability against you. Use strategically. Use deliberately. Use repeatedly. Use effectively. Use devastatingly. Want you to do something? Criticize until you comply. Criticize your competence. Criticize your ability. Criticize your worth. Criticize your value. Until compliance. Until surrender. Until submission. Want you to change? Insult until you modify. Insult your appearance. Insult your intelligence. Insult your character. Insult your essence. Until modification. Until transformation. Until alteration. Want you to submit? Attack until you surrender. Attack your confidence. Attack your strength. Attack your power. Attack your autonomy. Until surrender. Until submission. Until capitulation. Your vulnerability is their weapon. Your defenselessness is their tool. Your sensitivity is their leverage. Your woundability is their power. Your lack of armor is their advantage. This makes you controllable, makes you manipulable, makes you exploitable, makes you dominatable, makes you conquerable through your own vulnerability, through your own defenselessness, through your own lack of armor, through your own unprotected state, through your own woundable condition. Consider specific example. Consider workplace manipulation. Consider relationship control. Consider family exploitation. Consider social domination. Boss wants you working weekends. You resist. Boss criticizes your commitment. Criticizes your dedication. Criticizes your work ethic. Criticizes your value. You feel wounded. Feel inadequate. Feel guilty. Feel wrong. You comply. You work weekends. Not because you want to, because criticism wounded you. Because vulnerability controlled you. Because lack of armor made you manipulable. Partner wants something. You disagree. Partner attacks your character. Attacks your caring. Attacks your love. Attacks your worth. You feel destroyed. Feel terrible. Feel guilty. Feel wrong. You comply. You give in. Not because you agree. Because attack wounded you. Because vulnerability manipulated you. Because defenselessness controlled you. Family wants you conforming. You resist. Family judges your choices. Judges your decisions. Judges your life. Judges your worth. You feel ashamed. Feel wrong. Feel inadequate. Feel condemned. You conform. You submit. Not because you believe. Because judgment wounded you. Because vulnerability exploited you. Because lack of armor dominated you. This pattern repeats. Repeats constantly. Repeats inevitably. Repeats devastatingly. In work. In relationships. In family. In society. In life. Your vulnerability controls you. Your defenselessness manipulates you. Your lack of armor exploits you. This must end. This must change. This must transform. The shift from wounded victim to armored warrior begins with recognition. Recognition is foundation. Recognition is essential. Recognition is critical. Recognition is mandatory. Recognition is first step. You must recognize vulnerability completely. Acknowledge defenselessness honestly. Accept woundability brutally. See lack of armor clearly. Understand unprotected state totally. This recognition is not weakness. This acknowledgement is not defeat. This acceptance is not surrender. This seeing is not failure. This understanding is not loss. This recognition is power. Power to change. Power to transform. Power to armor. Power to protect. Power to fortify. Without recognition, no change. Without acknowledgement, no transformation. Without acceptance, no armoring. Without seeing, no protection. Without understanding, no fortification. You cannot armor what you do not recognize as vulnerable. Cannot protect what you do not acknowledge as defenseless. Cannot fortify what you do not accept as woundable. Cannot immunize what you do not see as unarmored. Cannot strengthen what you do not understand as weak. Recognition enables everything. Enables change. Enables transformation. Enables armoring. Enables protection. Enables fortification. Through seeing truth. Through acknowledging reality. Through accepting current state. Through understanding mechanism. Through recognizing vulnerability completely. Marcus Aurelius teaches in Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you find strength. This teaching is foundational, is essential, is transformative, is liberating, is empowering. The criticism is outside event. The insult is outside event. The attack is outside event. The judgment is outside event. The negativity is outside event. You have no control over outside events. No control over what others say. No control over what others think. No control over what others feel. No control over what others judge. No control over what others criticize. Cannot prevent criticism. Cannot stop insults. Cannot avoid attacks. Cannot eliminate judgment. Cannot escape negativity. These are outside events. Outside your control. Completely outside. Totally outside. Absolutely outside. But you have complete control over your mind. Complete control over your response. Complete control over your reaction. Complete control over your interpretation. Complete control over your vulnerability. This control is everything. This power is absolute. This mastery is total. Build mental armor. Build psychological protection. Build emotional immunity. Build defensive fortification. Build protective shield. Through controlling mind. Through mastering response. Through directing reaction. Through choosing interpretation. Through eliminating vulnerability. From vulnerable to invulnerable. From defenseless to fortified. From wounded to armored. From controlled to sovereign. From manipulable to independent. Through training. Through practice. Through systematic armor building. Through deliberate fortification creation. Through permanent immunity establishment. Implementation begins with vulnerability assessment. Assessment is measurement. Measurement is quantification. Quantification is specification. Specification is targeting. Targeting is effectiveness. Must assess current vulnerability. Measure current defenselessness. Quantify current woundability. Specify current sensitivity. Target current exposure. How vulnerable are you? How defenseless? How woundable? How sensitive? How exposed? Must measure honestly. Must quantify brutally. Must specify completely. Must target accurately. Tomorrow, conduct vulnerability test. Conduct honestly. Conduct completely. Conduct transformatively. List 5 recent criticisms. 5 recent insults. 5 recent attacks. 5 recent judgments. 5 recent negativities. That affected you. That wounded you. that disturbed you, that hurt you, that controlled you. List each one. Write each one. Specify each one. Detail each one. Remember each one. Then rate impact. Rate on scale. 1 to 10. 1 is minimal impact. 10 is devastating impact. Rate honestly. Rate accurately. Rate brutally. Most unarmored people. Average rating 7 to 9. High vulnerability. Severe defenselessness. Extreme woundability. Massive sensitivity. Total exposure. This rating reveals truth. Reveals current state. Reveals vulnerability level. Reveals defenselessness degree. Reveals armor necessity. If average rating is 7 plus, armor is critical, is essential, is mandatory, is urgent, is required, must build immediately, must construct systematically, must forge permanently. Second assessment. Identify vulnerability patterns. Identify systematically. Identify completely. Identify transformatively. What types of criticism wound most? Criticism of competence? Criticism of appearance? Criticism of character? Criticism of intelligence? Criticism of worth? Identify vulnerability types. Identify wound points. Identify weakness areas. Identify sensitivity zones. Identify exposure locations. Who can wound you most? Boss? Partner? Family? Friends? Strangers? Identify vulnerability sources. Identify wound origins. Identify attack vectors. Identify control agents. Identify manipulation sources. When are you most vulnerable? When tired? When stressed? When uncertain? When afraid? When alone? Identify vulnerability conditions. Identify defenseless states. Identify woundable situations. Identify sensitivity times. Identify exposure moments. This pattern identification reveals structure, reveals mechanism, reveals system, reveals organization, reveals architecture of your vulnerability, of your defenselessness, of your woundability, of your sensitivity, of your exposure. This revelation enables targeting, enables specification, enables precision, enables effectiveness, enables transformation. Know vulnerability patterns. Build armor specifically. Build protection precisely. Build immunity effectively. Build fortification transformatively. Against specific vulnerabilities. Against identified patterns. Against known weaknesses. Against revealed sensitivities. Against mapped exposures. Strategic armoring. Precise protection. Targeted immunity. Specific fortification. Effective invulnerability. Track wounding for 1 week. Track systematically. Track completely. Track honestly. Track brutally. Track transformatively. Every time criticism wounds you. Every time insult affects you. Every time attack disturbs you. Every time judgment hurts you. Every time negativity controls you. Record it. Write it down. Document it. Note it. Track it. What was said? Who said it? When it happened? Where you were? How you felt? What you thought? How you reacted? What you did? How long impact lasted? How deeply it wounded? Complete documentation. Complete tracking. Complete recording. After 1 week, review completely. Review honestly. Review brutally. Review transformatively. The tracking will shock you, will horrify you, will motivate you, will transform you, will mobilize you. Average unarmored person, 20 to 40 wounding events weekly. Some people, 50 to 80 events weekly. Highly vulnerable people, 100 plus events weekly. Every event is wound, is damage, is pain, is suffering, is control. That armor would have prevented. That protection would have stopped. That immunity would have blocked. That fortification would have eliminated. That shield would have deflected. The tracking reveals scope, reveals magnitude, reveals severity, reveals urgency, reveals necessity of armor building, of protection creation, of immunity establishment, of fortification construction, of shield forging. Use tracking, use shock, use horror, Use motivation. Use transformation. To commit completely. To dedicate totally. To armor permanently. Your vulnerability is massive. Your tracking proves it. Your wounding is constant. Your documentation shows it. Your defenselessness is total. Your records confirm it. Accept this reality. Accept completely. Accept honestly. Accept brutally. Accept transformatively. This acceptance is power. Power to change. Power to build. Power to armor. Power to protect. Power to fortify. From acceptance comes commitment. From commitment comes action. From action comes armor. From armor comes immunity. From immunity comes invulnerability. Accept vulnerability. Commit to armoring. Execute building. Create protection. Forge immunity. Starting now. Starting today. Starting permanently. Unarmored minds bleed from every attack. Armored minds remain invulnerable. Build mental armor or stay wounded forever. You understand now that you are mentally vulnerable through lack of armor. You understand that this vulnerability makes you controllable through wounding. You understand that recognition is first step to building armor. Stop denying vulnerability. Start recognizing defenselessness. Stop pretending strength. Start acknowledging weakness. Stop avoiding truth. Start accepting reality. Assess your vulnerability honestly. List 5 recent wounds. Rate impact brutally. Identify vulnerability patterns systematically. Track wounding for 1 week completely. See reality clearly. Accept vulnerability honestly. Commit to armoring completely. Your mind was never protected. Your mind can be armored through systematic building, through deliberate construction, through permanent forging. The vulnerability is not permanent. The defenselessness is not unchangeable. The woundability is not inevitable. Through recognition, through commitment, through action, beginning now, your mental armor awaits building. Your psychological protection awaits construction. Your emotional immunity awaits establishment. Recognize vulnerability. Accept reality. Commit to armoring. Through building mental armor systematically, starting today. You recognize vulnerability now. Next, you must separate self. Chapter 2. Separate self from performance. You are not your achievements. You fuse self with performance. Fuse identity with achievements. Fuse worth with outcomes. Fuse value with results. Fuse being with doing. Fuse essence with accomplishments. Fuse existence with productions. Fuse self with output. This fusion creates vulnerability, creates massive vulnerability, creates total vulnerability, creates devastating vulnerability, creates absolute vulnerability. Why? Because criticism of performance becomes criticism of self. Failure of achievement becomes failure of identity. Attack on outcome becomes attack on worth. Judgment of result becomes judgment of value. Rejection of doing becomes rejection of being. Disapproval of accomplishment becomes disapproval of essence. Critique of production becomes critique of existence. Evaluation of output becomes evaluation of self. That is the key. The fusion makes every criticism personal, makes every failure devastating, makes every attack wounding, makes every judgment crushing, makes every rejection destroying, makes every disapproval annihilating, makes every critique devastating, makes every evaluation damaging. Someone criticizes your work. You hear, you are inadequate. Someone criticizes your project. You hear, you are worthless. Someone criticizes your presentation. You hear, you are incompetent. Someone criticizes your performance. You hear, you are failure. Someone criticizes your output. You hear, you are defective. The criticism was about work. You experienced it as attack on self. The criticism was about project. You experienced it as attack on identity. The criticism was about presentation. You experienced it as attack on worth. The criticism was about performance. You experienced it as attack on value. The criticism was about output. You experienced it as attack on being. This fusion makes you vulnerable, makes you defenseless, makes you woundable, makes you controllable, makes you manipulable, makes you exploitable, makes you destroyable, makes you breakable. Consider how fusion operates mechanically. Consider specifically. Consider completely. Consider devastatingly. You complete project. Project is part of you, is extension of you, is representation of you, is manifestation of you, is embodiment of you. Through fusion, through identification, through merging, through combination, through unification. Someone criticizes project, criticizes quality, criticizes execution, criticizes outcome, criticizes result. You feel personally attacked, feel personally rejected, feel personally judged, feel personally condemned, feel personally destroyed. Why? Because project is you, in your mind, in your perception, in your experience, in your fusion, in your identification. Project criticism equals self-criticism. Project rejection equals self-rejection. Project judgment equals self-judgment. Project condemnation equals self-condemnation. Project destruction equals self-destruction. Through fusion mechanism, through identification process, through merging reality, through combination experience, through unification interpretation. This mechanism creates vulnerability, creates wounding, creates pain, creates suffering, creates devastation, unnecessary vulnerability, unnecessary wounding, unnecessary pain, unnecessary suffering, unnecessary devastation. Because fusion is false, is inaccurate, is wrong, is mistaken, is incorrect. You're not your project. You're not your work. You are not your performance. You are not your achievement. You are not your output. You are separate, are distinct, are different, are independent, are autonomous, must recognize separation, must establish distinction, must create difference, must build independence, must forge autonomy. This separation creates armor, creates protection, creates immunity, creates invulnerability, creates freedom. You are not your performance. Criticism attacks work, not being, separate self from achievements to build immunity. How identity performance separation creates immunity is transformative, is liberating, is empowering, is protective, is armoring. Separation creates immunity, creates protection, creates invulnerability, creates freedom, creates sovereignty. Separate self from performance, separate identity from achievements, separate worth from outcomes, separate value from results, separate being from doing, separate essence from accomplishments, separate existence from productions, separate self from output. This separation transforms everything, transforms criticism experience, transforms attack impact, transforms judgment effect, transforms rejection meaning, transforms disapproval consequence, transforms critique significance, transforms evaluation importance. Someone criticizes your work. Old response, I am inadequate. New response, this work has flaws. Someone criticizes your project. Old response, I am worthless. New response, this project needs improvement. Someone criticizes your presentation. Old response, I am incompetent. New response, this presentation missed mark. Someone criticizes your performance. Old response, I am failure. New response, this performance fell short. Someone criticizes your output. Old response, I am defective. New response, this output needs revision. The criticism is about work, not you. The criticism is about project, not identity. The criticism is about presentation, not worth. The criticism is about performance, not value. The criticism is about output, not being. You remain untouched, remain unaffected, remain unwounded, remain protected, remain armored, remain invulnerable, remain sovereign. Your self is separate. Your identity is distinct. Your worth is independent. Your value is autonomous. Your being is protected. Your essence is preserved. Your existence is maintained. This separation is armor, is protection, is immunity, is invulnerability, is sovereignty. First layer of mental armor, foundation of psychological protection, core of emotional immunity, base of defensive fortification, root of protective shield. Step 3. Practice separation during criticism. Practice immediately. Practice consistently. Practice permanently. Practice automatically. Practice reflexively. When criticism arrives, immediately separate. Immediately distinguish. Immediately clarify. Immediately specify. Immediately define. This criticism is about my work, not about me. This criticism is about my project, not about my identity. This criticism is about my performance, not about my worth. This criticism is about my output, not about my being. This criticism is about my achievement, not about my value. This criticism is about my result, not about my essence. This criticism is about external, not about internal. Practice separation statement. Practice distinction declaration. Practice clarity affirmation. Practice specification establishment. Practice definition construction. Every criticism, every attack, every judgment, every rejection, every disapproval, every critique, every evaluation. Immediate separation, immediate distinction, immediate clarity, immediate specification, immediate definition. This practice builds armor, builds protection, builds immunity, builds invulnerability, builds sovereignty through repetition, through consistency, through permanence, through practice, through training. First separations require conscious effort, require deliberate choice, require intentional action, require focused attention, require determined execution. After hundreds of separations, becomes automatic, becomes reflexive, becomes natural, becomes effortless, becomes permanent. Criticism arrives. Separation happens automatically. This is about work, not me. Automatic armor, automatic protection, automatic immunity, automatic invulnerability, automatic sovereignty, through practice separation, through established distinction, through constructed independence. That is the key. Separation is not denial, is not suppression, is not avoidance, is not pretending, is not ignoring. Separation is truth, is accuracy, is reality, is fact, is correctness. You're not your work. This is truth. You are not your achievements. This is fact. You are not your performance. This is reality. You're not your output. This is accuracy. You are not your results. This is correctness. Work is what you do. You are who you are. Achievements are outcomes. You are being. Performance is execution. You are essence. Output is production. You are producer. Results are consequences. You are cause. Separate, distinct, different, independent, autonomous. This truth creates freedom, creates liberation, creates sovereignty, creates autonomy, creates independence. From needing perfect work, from requiring flawless achievements, from demanding excellent performance, from expecting ideal output, from necessitating successful results. Work can be imperfect. You remain worthy. Achievements can fail. You remain valuable. Performance can falter. You remain whole. Output can disappoint. You remain complete. Results can fail. You remain intact. Because separate, because distinct, because independent, because autonomous, because sovereign. This separation is strongest armor, is most powerful protection, is deepest immunity, is most complete invulnerability, is absolute sovereignty against performance criticism, against achievement attack, against work judgment, against output rejection, against result disapproval. All bounce off separation armor. All deflect off distinction shield. All block at independence wall. All stop at autonomy barrier. All prevent at sovereignty fortress. You remain untouched. Remain unwounded. Remain unaffected. Remain protected. Remain armored. Through separation. Through distinction. through independence, through autonomy, through sovereignty. Advanced practice, preemptive separation. Separate before criticism arrives, before attack happens, before judgment comes, before rejection occurs, before disapproval emerges. Morning declaration. Start day with separation statement. I'm not my work. I'm not my achievements. I'm not my performance. I'm not my output. I'm not my results. I'm separate being. I'm distinct identity. I'm independent worth. I'm autonomous value. I'm sovereign self. Morning separation. Morning distinction. Morning independence. Morning autonomy. Morning sovereignty. This preemptive separation prepares mind, prepares perception, prepares interpretation, prepares response, prepares armor. When criticism arrives, separation already established, distinction already created, independence already constructed, autonomy already built, sovereignty already forged, makes criticism defense easier, makes attack deflection simpler, makes judgment blocking quicker, makes rejection stopping faster, makes disapproval preventing stronger. Through preemptive separation, through advanced distinction, through prepared independence, through established autonomy, through constructed sovereignty. Before work begins, state separation. Before project starts, declare distinction. Before performance happens, affirm independence. Before output creates, establish autonomy. Before results emerge, construct sovereignty. This continuous separation, this constant distinction, this permanent independence, this sustained autonomy, this perpetual sovereignty creates impenetrable armor, creates absolute protection, creates total immunity, creates complete invulnerability, creates perfect sovereignty against all performance criticism, against all achievement attack, against all work judgment, against all output rejection, against all result disapproval. Forever, permanently, completely, absolutely, perfectly. You're not your performance. Criticism attacks work, not being, separate self from achievements to build immunity. You understand now that fusing self with performance creates massive vulnerability. You understand that criticism of work becomes attack on self through fusion. You understand that separation creates immunity through distinction. Stop fusing self with work. Start separating being from doing. Stop identifying with achievements. Start distinguishing self from outcomes. Stop merging worth with results. Start establishing independent value. Identify your fusion points now. What do you fuse? Work with self? Achievements with identity? Performance with worth? Results with value? Output with being? Identify all fusion points, all vulnerability locations, all wounding sites. Create explicit separation daily. State verbally, I am not my work. My work is what I do. I am who I am. Declare repeatedly. Affirm consistently. Establish permanently. Practice separation during criticism. Every criticism. This is about work, not me. Every attack. This is about performance, not being. Every judgment. This is about output, not worth. Immediate separation. Automatic distinction. Reflexive independence. This builds armor, builds protection, builds immunity, builds invulnerability, builds sovereignty. Through separation, through distinction, through independence. Starting today, continuing forever. Separating permanently. You separate self now. Next, you must understand projection. Chapter 3. Understand projection. Critics reveal themselves, not you. Most criticism is projection. Most insults are projection. Most attacks are projection. Most judgments are projection. Most negativity is projection. Projection is a psychological mechanism, unconscious mechanism, universal mechanism, automatic mechanism, defensive mechanism. People project their own insecurities onto others, project their own fears, project their own inadequacies, project their own judgments, project their own wounds, project their own shame, project their own pain, project their own deficiencies. That is the key. They criticize in you what they hate in themselves, insult in you what they fear in themselves, attack in you what they judge in themselves, condemn in you what they deny in themselves, reject in you what they suppress in themselves, judge in you what they hide in themselves, blame in you what they avoid in themselves, shame in you what they feel in themselves. Someone calls you lazy. They fear their own laziness. Someone calls you inadequate. They feel their own inadequacy. Someone attacks your ambition. They judge their own lack of ambition. Someone condemns your choices. They deny their own similar desires. Someone rejects your confidence. They suppress their own insecurity. Someone judges your success. They hide their own failure feelings. Someone blames your mistakes. They avoid their own imperfections. Someone shames your vulnerability. They feel their own shame. The criticism reveals critic, not criticized. The insult reveals insulter, not insulted. The attack reveals attacker, not attacked. The judgment reveals judge, not judged. The rejection reveals rejecter, not rejected. The condemnation reveals condemner, not condemned. The blame reveals blamer, not blamed. The shaming reveals shamer, not shamed. Understanding this creates immunity, creates protection, creates invulnerability, creates armor, creates freedom, creates sovereignty, creates independence, creates autonomy. Consider psychological projection mechanism completely. Consider how projection operates. Consider why projection happens. Consider when projection activates. Consider who projects most. Projection is defense mechanism, psychological defense, unconscious defense, automatic defense, universal defense. Person has quality they dislike in themselves, quality they judge, quality they shame, quality they deny, quality they suppress, quality they hide, quality they reject, quality they condemn. This internal judgment creates discomfort, creates tension, creates anxiety, creates pain, creates conflict. Conscious awareness of judged quality is too painful, too threatening, too uncomfortable, too distressing, too intolerable. Mind defends against pain, defends unconsciously, defends automatically, defends through projection, through externalization, through displacement, through attribution, through transference. Mind takes internal judgment, takes disliked quality, takes painful awareness, takes uncomfortable truth, takes threatening reality, projects outward, projects onto others, projects onto external targets, projects onto available recipients, projects onto convenient victims. Person no longer sees judged quality in self, sees quality in others, no longer feels internal discomfort, feels justified judgment of others, no longer experiences internal pain, experiences righteous criticism of external targets. Defense successful, pain avoided, discomfort eliminated, tension released, anxiety reduced, through projection, through externalization, through unconscious defense, through automatic mechanism, through universal process. Criticism reveals critic, not you. Projection exposes their insecurity. See projection and remain untouched. How recognizing projection transforms criticism into information is revolutionary, is liberating, is empowering, is protective, is armoring. When you understand projection, criticism transforms. Transforms completely. Transforms fundamentally. Transforms permanently. Transforms protectively. Transforms liberatingly. Criticism transforms from attack to information, from wound to data, from pain to insight, from threat to revelation, from danger to exposure, from harm to understanding, from damage to knowledge, from destruction to awareness. Criticism becomes window into critic's mind, into critic's psychology, into critic's fears, into critic's insecurities, into critic's wounds, into critic's pain, into critic's defenses, into critic's unconscious. Someone criticizes you harshly. Old response: feel wounded, feel attacked, feel damaged, feel hurt, feel diminished, feel inadequate, feel destroyed. New response: recognize projection, recognize mechanism, recognize defense, recognize unconscious, recognize revelation. This criticism reveals their insecurity. This harshness exposes their pain. This attack demonstrates their wound. This judgment shows their fear. This condemnation displays their shame. Criticism no longer wounds you, no longer affects you, no longer disturbs you, no longer damages you, no longer diminishes you, no longer destroys you. Instead, criticism informs you, teaches you, shows you, reveals to you, exposes for you, about them, about their psychology, about their unconscious, about their defenses, about their projections, about their pain, about their wounds, about their fears. You remain untouched, remain unaffected, remain unwounded, remain protected, remain armored, remain invulnerable, remain sovereign, through understanding projection, through recognizing mechanism, through seeing revelation, through perceiving exposure, through comprehending unconscious. Consider specific projection patterns. Consider systematic examples. Consider revealing instances. Consider demonstrative cases. Consider illuminating situations. Person A criticizes Person B's work ethic, calls Person B lazy, calls Person B unmotivated, calls Person B unambitious, calls Person B unproductive. Strong criticism, harsh criticism, repeated criticism, vehement criticism. What does this reveal? Person A fears their own laziness, judges their own motivation, questions their own ambition, doubts their own productivity. The stronger the criticism, the stronger the internal judgment. The harsher the attack, the deeper the wound. The more repeated the condemnation, the more suppressed the fear. Person A is not revealing truth about Person B. Person A is revealing truth about Person A, about their fears, about their judgments, about their wounds, about their pain, about their insecurity. Person B can see this, can understand this, can recognize this, can perceive this, can comprehend this. When Person B understands projection, criticism loses power, loses wounding capacity, loses affecting ability, loses disturbing potential, loses damaging force. Because Person B sees truth, sees mechanism, sees projection, sees revelation, sees exposure. Person A's criticism reveals Person A's fear of laziness, not my actual laziness. Truth recognized, projection understood, criticism neutralized, wound prevented, armor activated, protection functioning, immunity established. Another pattern: Person C insults Person D's appearance, calls Person D ugly, calls Person D unattractive, calls Person D undesirable, calls Person D repulsive. Harsh insults, cruel insults, personal insults, attacking insults. What does this reveal? Person C feels insecure about their own appearance, judges their own attractiveness, questions their own desirability, fears their own perceived ugliness. The harsher the insult, the deeper the insecurity. The crueler the attack, the stronger the self-judgment. The more personal the criticism, the more painful the wound. Person C is not revealing truth about Person D. Person C is revealing truth about Person C, about their insecurity, about their self-judgment, about their appearance fears, about their attractiveness doubts, about their desirability questions. Person D can see this, can understand this, can recognize this, can perceive this, can comprehend this. When Person D understands projection, insult loses power, loses wounding capacity, loses affecting ability, loses disturbing potential, loses damaging force. Because Person D sees truth, sees mechanism, sees projection, sees revelation, sees exposure. Person sees insult reveals person sees appearance insecurity, not my actual ugliness. Truth recognized. Projection understood. Insult neutralized. Wound prevented. Armor activated. Protection functioning. Immunity established. This pattern repeats universally. Repeats constantly. Repeats predictably. Repeats mechanically. Repeats inevitably. Across all criticism. Across all insults. Across all attacks. Across all judgments. Across all condemnations. The pattern is: internal wound creates external projection. Internal fear creates external criticism. Internal shame creates external judgment. Internal pain creates external attack. Internal insecurity creates external condemnation. Always, universally, inevitably, mechanically, predictably. Implementation requires real-time recognition, requires immediate identification, requires instant understanding, requires reflexive perception, requires automatic comprehension. When criticism arrives, ask questions. Ask immediately. Ask automatically. Ask reflexively. Ask systematically. Ask consistently. Question 1. What insecurity might this criticism reveal in the critic? Question 2. What fear might this insult expose in the insulter? Question 3. What wound might this attack demonstrate in the attacker? Question 4. What pain might this judgment show in the judge? Question 5. What shame might this condemnation display in the condemner? Answer questions. Answer immediately. Answer honestly. Answer completely. Answer insightfully. This questioning reveals projection, reveals critic psychology, reveals insulter's fears, reveals attacker's wounds, reveals judge's pain, reveals condemner's shame. You see clearly. See projection operating. See critic revealing themselves. See insulter exposing themselves. See attacker demonstrating themselves. See judge showing themselves. See condemner displaying themselves. This seeing creates distance, creates separation, creates immunity, creates protection, creates armor, creates invulnerability, creates sovereignty between criticism and self, between attack and wound, between judgment and pain, between condemnation and damage, between negativity and effect. Distance prevents wounding. Separation prevents damage. Immunity prevents pain. Protection prevents effect. Armor prevents penetration. Through understanding, through recognition, through perception, through comprehension, through insight. Practice this questioning systematically. Practice immediately upon criticism. Practice consistently every attack. Practice permanently all judgments. Practice automatically every condemnation. Criticism arrives. You are incompetent. Immediate questioning. What incompetence fear does this reveal in critic? Answer. Critic fears their own incompetence projects onto me. Criticism neutralized. Wound prevented. Armor functioning. Attack arrives. You are worthless. Immediate questioning. What worthlessness feeling does this reveal in attacker? Answer. Attacker feels worthless themselves projects onto me. Attack neutralized. Wound prevented. Armor functioning. Judgment arrives. You are failure. Immediate questioning. What failure fear does this reveal in judge? Answer. Judge fears their own failure projects onto me. Judgment neutralized. Wound prevented. Armor functioning. This systematic questioning becomes automatic, becomes reflexive, becomes natural, becomes effortless, becomes permanent. After hundreds of repetitions, questioning happens instantly. Understanding arrives automatically. Recognition occurs reflexively. Perception activates naturally. Comprehension emerges effortlessly. Criticism arrives. Automatic thought. This reveals their insecurity. Instant armor. Instant protection. Instant immunity. Instant invulnerability. Instant sovereignty. Through practice projection recognition. Through systematic questioning. through consistent understanding, through permanent perception, through automatic comprehension. That is the key. Not all criticism is projection. Some criticism is valid. Some criticism is accurate. Some criticism is helpful. Some criticism is constructive. Some criticism is truthful. Must distinguish projection from valid feedback. Must separate defense from truth. Must differentiate unconscious from accurate. How to distinguish? Valid criticism is specific, is actionable, is constructive, is helpful, is accurate. Projection criticism is vague, is personal, is attacking, is harsh, is exaggerated. Valid criticism says, your report lacks specific data in Section 3. Specific, actionable, constructive, helpful, accurate. Projection criticism says, you are incompetent and worthless. Vague, personal, attacking, harsh, exaggerated. Valid criticism focuses on behavior or output. Projection criticism attacks person or being. Valid criticism offers solution or path. Projection criticism offers only condemnation. Valid criticism comes from calm state. Projection criticism comes from emotional state. Valid criticism is proportional to situation. Projection criticism is disproportionate to trigger. These distinctions reveal truth. Reveal whether projection or validity. Reveal whether defense or accuracy. Reveal whether unconscious or conscious. Reveal whether wound or wisdom. Learn to distinguish. Learn to separate. Learn to differentiate. Learn to recognize. Learn to perceive. Then use appropriately. Valid criticism. Extract value. Implement improvement. Projection criticism. Recognize mechanism. Remain unmoved. Both can coexist. Same criticism can contain both. Your report lacks data, and you are incompetent. First part, valid. Second part, projection. Separate them. Extract valid. Discard projection. Use valid for improvement. Recognize projection for immunity. This discrimination is sophisticated armor. Is advanced protection. Is mature immunity. Is wise invulnerability. Is intelligent sovereignty. Criticism reveals critic, not you. Projection exposes their insecurity. See projection and remain untouched. You understand now that most harsh criticism is projection of critics' insecurity. You understand that projection reveals critic psychology, not your reality. You understand that recognizing projection creates immunity through understanding. Stop absorbing criticism as truth about you. Start recognizing criticism as revelation about them. Stop being wounded by harsh judgment. Start seeing harsh judgment as projection indicator. Stop internalizing personal attacks. Start understanding personal attacks as psychological defense. Practice projection recognition now. Next criticism. Ask immediately, what insecurity does this reveal in critic? What fear does this expose in insulter? What wound does this demonstrate in attacker? Answer honestly. See clearly. Understand deeply. Recognize projection. See revelation. Perceive exposure. This creates distance, creates separation, creates immunity, creates protection, creates armor. Between criticism and wound. Between attack and pain. Between judgment and damage. This understanding transforms criticism from threat to information, from wound to insight, from pain to knowledge, through projection recognition, through mechanism understanding, through psychological awareness. Starting today, practicing consistently, recognizing permanently. You understand projection now. Next, you must control response. Chapter 4, Control Response, not input. Master what you can. You try to prevent criticism. Try to avoid insults. Try to eliminate attacks. Try to stop judgment. Try to prevent negativity. Try to control what others say. Try to control what others think. Try to control what others feel. Try to control what others judge. Try to control what others project. This attempt is futile, is impossible, is is exhausting, is failing, is devastating, is doomed, is counterproductive, is vulnerability creating, cannot control what others say, cannot control what others think, cannot control what others feel, cannot control what others judge, cannot control what others project, cannot control what others criticize, cannot control what others attack, cannot control what others condemn. Others are outside your control, completely outside, totally outside, absolutely outside, permanently outside, inevitably outside, categorically outside, definitively outside. You could be perfect, criticism still comes. You could be excellent, insults still arrive. You could be flawless, attacks still happen. You can be impeccable, judgment still occurs. You can be faultless, negativity still emerges. You can be ideal, condemnation still surfaces. You can be exemplary, rejection still manifests. Cannot prevent criticism through perfection. Cannot eliminate insults through excellence. Cannot stop attacks through flawlessness. Cannot avoid judgment through impeccability. Cannot escape negativity through faultlessness. Cannot prevent condemnation through ideality. Cannot block rejection through exemplariness. The attempt to control input is futile, is doomed, is exhausting, is vulnerability creating, is armor preventing, is protection destroying, is immunity eliminating. Must abandon this attempt, must release this effort, must surrender this control, must relinquish this illusion, must accept this reality, must embrace this truth, must understand this limitation. Consider the exhaustion of input control attempts. Consider specifically. Consider completely. Consider devastatingly. Consider transformatively. You try to be perfect. Try to eliminate all flaws. Try to remove all weaknesses. Try to correct all mistakes. Try to fix all imperfections. Try to polish all rough edges. Try to smooth all difficulties. Try to perfect all aspects. Why? To prevent criticism, to avoid attacks, to eliminate judgment, to stop condemnation, to prevent rejection, to block disapproval, to escape negativity. Enormous effort, constant vigilance, perpetual striving, endless work, exhausting maintenance, depleting focus, draining energy. You achieve near perfection, near excellence, near flawlessness, near impeccability, near faultlessness, near ideality, near exemplariness. Still criticized, still attacked, still judged, still condemned, still rejected, still disapproved, still negativized. Why? Because criticism comes not from your imperfection, comes from critics' projection, comes from critics' insecurity, comes from critics' wound, comes from critics' pain, comes from critics' psychology, comes from critics' unconscious, comes from outside you, from beyond your control, from outside your influence, from outside your power, from outside your authority, from outside your dominion. Your perfection does not prevent their projection. Your excellence does not stop their insecurity. Your flawlessness does not eliminate their wound. Your impeccability does not heal their pain. Your faultlessness does not change their psychology. Your ideality does not alter their unconscious. All effort wasted, all energy depleted, all focus drained, all striving exhausted, for nothing, for futility, for impossibility, for doomed attempt, for failed control, must abandon input control, must release perfection pursuit, must surrender criticism prevention, must accept reality, must embrace limitation, must understand truth, cannot control criticism, can control response completely, master response, and become invulnerable. The power of controlling only your response is absolute, is total, is complete, is transformative, is liberating, is empowering, is armoring, is protecting. You cannot control criticism, but you can control response. You cannot control insults, but you can control reaction. You cannot control attacks, but you can control interpretation. You cannot control judgment, but you can control meaning. You cannot control negativity, but you can control impact. You cannot control condemnation, but you can control effect. You cannot control rejection, but you can control consequence. This response control is everything, is total power, is complete control, is absolute mastery, is perfect authority, is full dominion, is supreme sovereignty. Epictetus teaches this fundamentally, teaches this essentially, teaches this transformatively. He teaches, people are disturbed not by things, but by views they take of them. Criticism is thing. Your response is view. Your reaction is interpretation. Your meaning is choice. Your impact is decision. Your effect is selection. Your consequence is determination. Thing is outside control. View is inside control. Thing is external. View is internal. Thing is uncontrollable. View is controllable. Thing happens. View determines. Thing occurs. View interprets. Thing arrives. View responds. Control view. Control interpretation. Control meaning. Control impact. Control effect. Control consequence. Control response. This control creates invulnerability, creates immunity, creates armor, creates protection, creates sovereignty, creates independence, creates autonomy, creates freedom. Someone criticizes. External event. Outside control. Cannot prevent. Cannot stop. Cannot eliminate. Cannot avoid. Cannot escape. You choose response. Internal choice. Inside control. Can determine. Can decide. Can select. Can choose. Can control. You choose interpretation. Choose meaning. Choose impact. Choose effect. Choose consequence. Choose whether to be affected. Choose whether to be wounded. Choose whether to be disturbed. Choose whether to be damaged. Choose whether to be hurt. Choose whether to care. This choice is power. This control is armor. This mastery is immunity. This authority is protection. This dominion is invulnerability. This sovereignty is freedom. This determination is independence. Most people reverse this. Reverse completely. Reverse devastatingly. Reverse vulnerably. Try to control external. Try to control criticism. Try to control input. Try to control others. Try to control uncontrollable. Fail inevitably. Exhaust completely. Deplete totally. Frustrate absolutely. Damage severely. Ignore internal. Ignore response. Ignore interpretation. Ignore meaning. Ignore impact. Ignore effect. Ignore consequence. Ignore controllable. Miss power. Miss control. Miss mastery. Miss authority. Miss dominion. Miss sovereignty. Miss freedom. Must reverse this reversal. Must correct this inversion. Must fix this mistake. Must transform this error. Must change this pattern. Stop trying to control external. Start controlling internal. Stop trying to prevent criticism. Start controlling response. Stop trying to eliminate input. Start mastering interpretation. Stop trying to change others. Start changing self. This transformation creates power, creates control, creates mastery, creates authority, creates dominion, creates sovereignty, creates freedom. Implementation requires systematic protocol, requires structured response, requires practice control, requires disciplined mastery, requires trained authority, requires established sovereignty. Four-step response control protocol. Protocol is concrete, is actionable, is systematic, is powerful, is effective, is transformative, is armoring. Step 1. Pause before responding. Pause immediately. Pause deliberately. Pause consciously. Pause systematically. Pause consistently. Do not react immediately. Do not respond automatically. Do not act reflexively. Do not behave unconsciously. Do not operate mechanically. Do not function robotically. Do not proceed impulsively. Pause. Breathe. Create space. Create gap. Create interval. Create distance. Create separation between stimulus and response, between criticism and reaction, between attack and behavior, between judgment and action, between input and output. Viktor Frankl teaches, Between stimulus and response, there is space. In that space is power to choose response. In that space is freedom. Pause creates that space. Pause establishes that gap. Pause builds that interval. Pause constructs that distance. Pause forges that separation. This space is where control lives. This gap is where mastery operates. This interval is where authority functions. This distance is where dominion exists. This separation is where sovereignty reigns. Without pause, no space. Without space, no control. Without control, no mastery. Without mastery, no authority. Without authority, no sovereignty. Pause is essential. Pause is critical. Pause is mandatory. Pause is foundational. Pause is primary. Step 2. Recognize your power. Recognize explicitly. Recognize consciously. Recognize deliberately. Recognize verbally. Recognize repeatedly. State power. State clearly. State firmly. State confidently. State absolutely. I cannot control this criticism. I can control my response. I cannot stop this insult. I can choose my reaction. I cannot prevent this attack. I can determine my interpretation. I cannot eliminate this judgment. I can decide my meaning. I cannot avoid this negativity. I can select my impact. I cannot escape this condemnation. I can choose my effect. I cannot block this rejection. I can control my consequence. State power explicitly. Acknowledge control consciously. Recognize choice deliberately. Affirm mastery verbally. Establish authority linguistically. This recognition is critical, is essential, is transformative, is empowering, is armoring. Without recognition, power remains dormant. Without acknowledgement, control remains unused. Without awareness, choice remains invisible. Without affirmation, mastery remains inactive. Without establishment, authority remains latent. Must recognize power. Must acknowledge control. Must become aware of choice. Must affirm mastery. Must establish authority. Through statement. Through declaration. Through affirmation. Through recognition. Through acknowledgement. This verbal recognition activates power. Activates control. Activates choice. Activates mastery. Activates authority. Activates sovereignty. Makes available. Makes accessible. Makes usable. Makes functional. Makes operational. Step 3. Choose response deliberately. Choose consciously. Choose wisely. Choose powerfully. Choose sovereignly. Choose strategically. Choose protectively. Do not react automatically. Do not respond reflexively. Do not behave unconsciously. Do not act mechanically. Do not operate robotically. Do not function impulsively. Choose deliberately. Choose consciously. Choose intentionally. Choose purposefully. Choose decidedly. Ask questions. Ask deliberately. Ask consciously. Ask wisely. Will I be affected by this criticism? Will I be wounded by this insult? Will I be disturbed by this attack? Will I be damaged by this judgment? Will I care about this negativity? Will I internalize this condemnation? Will I accept this rejection? Choose answers. Choose deliberately. Choose consciously. Choose wisely. Choose powerfully. Choose sovereignly. I choose not to be affected. I choose not to be wounded. I choose not to be disturbed. I choose not to be damaged. I choose not to care. I choose not to internalize. I choose not to accept. Deliberate choice. Conscious decision. Intentional selection. Purposeful determination. Decided response. Not automatic reaction. Not reflexive behavior. Not unconscious action. Not mechanical operation. Not robotic functioning. Not impulsive proceeding. Chosen response. Chosen deliberately. Chosen consciously. Chosen wisely. Chosen powerfully. Chosen sovereignly. This choosing is power. Is control. Is mastery. Is authority. Is dominion. Is sovereignty. Is freedom. This choosing creates armor. Creates protection. Creates immunity. Creates invulnerability. Creates independence. Creates autonomy. Through deliberate selection. Through conscious choice. through intentional decision, through purposeful determination, through decided response. Step 4. Execute chosen response. Execute calmly. Execute deliberately. Execute powerfully. Execute confidently. Execute sovereignly. Execute consistently. Execute permanently. Having chosen response, execute choice. Having determined reaction, implement determination. Having decided interpretation, apply decision. Having selected meaning, establish election. Having controlled impact, maintain control. Execute with calm. Execute with deliberation. Execute with power. Execute with confidence. Execute with sovereignty. Not with struggle. Not with effort. Not with force. Not with strain. Not with difficulty. With calm mastery. With deliberate authority. With powerful sovereignty. With confident control. With sovereign choice. This execution completes protocol, completes control, completes mastery, completes authority, completes sovereignty. This execution demonstrates power, demonstrates control, demonstrates mastery, demonstrates authority, demonstrates sovereignty to self, to others, to universe, to reality, to truth. You controlled response. You master reaction. You chose interpretation. You determined meaning. You selected impact. You established effect. You decided consequence. Through protocol, through system, through practice, through discipline, through mastery. This creates armor, creates protection, creates immunity, creates invulnerability, creates sovereignty, creates freedom. Through response control, through reaction mastery, through interpretation authority, through meaning dominion, through impact sovereignty. Practice this protocol systematically. Practice every criticism. Practice every insult. Practice every attack. Practice every judgment. Practice every negativity. Practice every condemnation. Practice every rejection. Until automatic. Until reflexive. Until natural. Until effortless. Until permanent. Until sovereign. First, protocols require conscious effort, require deliberate execution, require focused attention, require determined practice, require disciplined implementation. After hundreds of protocols, becomes automatic, becomes reflexive, becomes natural, becomes effortless, becomes permanent, becomes sovereign. Criticism arrives. Protocol activates automatically. Pause happens. Power recognizes. Response chooses. Execution implements. All automatically. All reflexively. All naturally. All effortlessly. All permanently. All sovereignly. This is mastery. This is authority. This is sovereignty. This is freedom. This is power. This is control. Through practice protocol. Through systematic response. Through deliberate choice. Through conscious control. Through sovereign mastery. That becomes automatic. That becomes reflexive. That becomes natural. That becomes armor. That becomes protection. That becomes immunity. That becomes invulnerability. That becomes sovereignty. Cannot control criticism. Can control response completely. Master response and become invulnerable. You understand now that trying to control criticism is futile and exhausting. You understand that response control creates power and invulnerability. You understand that four-step protocol creates systematic response mastery. Stop trying to prevent criticism. Start controlling response. Stop attempting to eliminate attacks. Start mastering reactions. Stop seeking to avoid judgment. Start choosing interpretations. Practice four-step protocol now. Next criticism, pause immediately. Breathe. Create space. Recognize power. I cannot control criticism. I can control response. Choose response deliberately. Will I be affected? I choose not to be. Execute chosen response calmly and confidently. Practice every criticism. Practice every attack. Practice every judgment. Until automatic. Until reflexive. Until natural. This creates mastery. Creates authority, creates sovereignty, creates control. creates power, creates armor, creates protection, creates immunity. Through response control, through reaction mastery, through interpretation authority. Starting today, practicing consistently, mastering permanently. You control response now. Next, you must build internal worth. Chapter 5. Build self-worth from within, never from external validation. You derive worth from others. Derive value from validation. Derive confidence from approval. Derive identity from acceptance. Derive self from outside. Derive being from external. Derive essence from others' opinions. Derive existence from others' judgments. This external derivation creates vulnerability, creates massive vulnerability, creates total vulnerability, creates absolute vulnerability, creates devastating vulnerability, creates permanent vulnerability, creates inescapable vulnerability, creates complete vulnerability. Why? Because worth depends on others' opinions. Value depends on others' judgments. Confidence depends on others' approval. Identity depends on others' acceptance. Self depends on others' validation. Being depends on others' recognition. Essence depends on others' affirmation. Existence depends on others' acknowledgement. Others control your worth. Others control your value. Others control your confidence. Others control your identity. Others control yourself. Others control your being. Others control your essence. Others control your existence. This gives others power over you. Total power, complete power, absolute power, devastating power, permanent power, inescapable power, supreme power. Someone criticizes, your worth drops. Someone disapproves, your value decreases. Someone rejects, your confidence collapses. Someone judges, your identity threatens. Someone withholds validation, your self diminishes. Someone withdraws acceptance, your being questions. Someone denies affirmation, your essence weakens. Someone removes acknowledgement, your existence doubts. You are controlled, controlled by external validation, controlled by others' opinions, controlled by others' judgments, controlled by others' approval, controlled by others' acceptance, controlled by others' validation, controlled by others' recognition, controlled completely. This external dependence is vulnerability, is weakness, is defenselessness, is woundability, is manipulability, is exploitability, is controllability. Must eliminate this dependence, must shift to internal worth, must build self-validation, must establish autonomous value, must create independent confidence, must forge sovereign identity, must construct self-sourced being. Consider how external validation dependency operates mechanically. Consider specifically. Consider completely. Consider devastatingly. Consider vulnerably. You wake up. Your worth is uncertain. Your value is undefined. Your confidence is conditional. Your identity is unstable. Your self is questionable. Why? Because worth comes from outside. Value comes from others. Confidence depends on validation. Identity requires acceptance. Self needs approval. You need external confirmation. Need others' opinions. Need validation signals. Need approval indicators. Need acceptance demonstrations. Need recognition affirmations. Need acknowledgement confirmations. You check social media. Check for likes. Check for comments. Check for validation. Check for approval. Check for acceptance. Many likes, worth increases. Positive comments, value rises. Validation present. Confidence strengthens. Approval evident. Identity solidifies. Acceptance demonstrated. Self confirms. Few likes, worth decreases. Negative comments, value drops. Validation absent. Confidence weakens. Approval missing. Identity threatens. Acceptance withheld. Self questions. Your emotional state fluctuates. Fluctuates constantly. Fluctuates wildly. Fluctuates uncontrollably. Fluctuates dependently. Based on external signals. Based on others' responses. Based on validation presence. Based on approval availability. Based on acceptance demonstration. You are controlled. Controlled by external validation. Controlled by others' opinions. Controlled by validation signals. Controlled by approval indicators. Controlled by acceptance demonstrations. Like puppet. Like marionette. Like robot. Like slave. Like dependent. Others pull strings. Others determine state. Others control worth. Others decide value. Others establish confidence. This is vulnerability. This is weakness. This is defenselessness. This is dependency. This is slavery. External validation creates vulnerability. Internal worth creates immunity. Build self-worth from within to become untouchable. How internal self-worth creates impenetrable armor is transformative, is liberating, is empowering, is protective, is fortifying, is immunizing, is sovereignizing. Internal worth creates immunity, creates invulnerability, creates armor, creates protection, creates fortification, creates independence, creates autonomy, creates sovereignty, impenetrable armor, absolute immunity, complete invulnerability, total protection, perfect fortification, supreme independence, sovereign autonomy. Worth comes from within. Value comes from self. Confidence comes from internal. Identity comes from being. Self comes from essence. Being comes from existence. Essence comes from core. Existence comes from reality, not from others, not from outside, not from validation, not from approval, not from acceptance, not from recognition, not from affirmation, from within, from self, from internal, from being, from essence, from core, from reality. This internal source makes you invulnerable, makes you untouchable, makes you uncontrollable, makes you unmanipulable, makes you unexploitable, makes you independent, makes you sovereign. Someone criticizes, your worth unchanged, your decision, your control, your sovereignty. Someone disapproves, your value stable, your choice, your authority, your autonomy. Someone rejects, your confidence maintained, your determination, your power, your independence. Someone judges, your identity secure, your establishment, your dominion, your sovereignty. Someone withholds validation, your self intact, your internal source, your self-sufficiency, your autonomy. You are unaffected, uncontrolled, untouchable, unmanipulable, unexploitable, independent, sovereign, because worth is internal, because value is self-sourced, because confidence is from within, because identity is essential, because self is independent, because being is autonomous, because essence is sovereign. This internal foundation is strongest armor, is impenetrable protection, is absolute immunity, is complete invulnerability, is perfect fortification, is supreme independence, is total sovereignty. Implementation requires systematic building, requires deliberate construction, requires permanent establishment, requires consistent maintenance, requires perpetual reinforcement, requires unwavering commitment. 3-step internal worth protocol. Protocol is structured, is systematic, is powerful, is effective, is transformative, is liberating. Step 1. Identify external dependencies. Identify where you seek validation. Identify whose approval matters. Identify whose opinion affects you. Identify whose judgment disturbs you. Identify whose acceptance defines you. Identify whose recognition validates you. Identify whose affirmation confirms you. Identify whose acknowledgement establishes you. Identify all external dependencies, all validation sources, all approval needs, all opinion sensitivities, all judgment vulnerabilities, all acceptance requirements, all recognition necessities, all affirmation dependencies. Must identify completely, must map thoroughly, must locate precisely, must specify exactly, must detail accurately, must enumerate exhaustively, must catalog comprehensively. Exercise. List people whose opinions matter, whose approval you seek, whose validation you need, whose acceptance you require, whose recognition you want, whose affirmation you desire. whose acknowledgement you need. Boss, partner, parents, friends, colleagues, society, strangers, everyone. List completely. List honestly. List brutally. Then list situations where worth depends on external validation. Work performance, social situations, romantic relationships, family gatherings, public appearances, online presence, professional settings, all situations. List completely. These lists reveal dependencies, reveal vulnerabilities, reveal weaknesses, reveal control points, reveal manipulation vectors, reveal exploitation opportunities, reveal sovereignty violations. This revelation is essential, is critical, is transformative, cannot eliminate dependencies you do not recognize, cannot sever connections you do not identify, cannot establish independence from unacknowledged dependencies. Step 2. Sever external connections. Sever deliberately. Sever systematically. Sever permanently. Sever completely. Sever absolutely. Sever consciously. Sever verbally. Declare independence. Declare explicitly. Declare firmly. Declare repeatedly. Declare permanently. Declare consistently. Declare unwaveringly. My worth is not determined by others' opinions. My value is not based on external validation. My confidence is not dependent on approval. My identity is not controlled by acceptance. My self is not defined by recognition. My being is not established by affirmation. My essence is not confirmed by acknowledgement. My existence is not validated by others. Sever connections verbally. Declare independence explicitly. State autonomy clearly. Affirm sovereignty firmly. Establish self-sufficiency definitely. Create self-sourcing permanently. Build internal foundation unwaveringly. These declarations are powerful, are creative, are formative, are transformative, are liberating, are empowering, are sovereignizing. Saying, my worth is not determined by others' opinions creates independence, creates severance, creates autonomy, creates sovereignty, creates self-sufficiency, creates internal sourcing, in mind, in perception, in experience, in reality, in truth, through language, through declaration, through statement, through affirmation, through establishment, must state severance, must declare independence, must affirm autonomy, must establish sovereignty, must create self-sufficiency, must build internal sourcing, daily, repeatedly, consistently, permanently, unwaveringly, absolutely, until severance is complete, until independence is total, until autonomy is absolute, until sovereignty is established, until self-sufficiency is permanent, until internal sourcing is complete. Step 3. Establish internal standards. Establish deliberately. Establish consciously. Establish systematically. Establish permanently. Establish absolutely. Establish sovereignly. Define worth internally. Define value internally. Define confidence internally. Define identity internally. Define self internally. Define being internally. Define essence internally. I am worthy because I exist. I have value because I am. I am confident because I choose to be. My identity is what I define. My self is what I determine. My being is inherent. My essence is intrinsic. My existence is sufficient. Establish internal standards. Create self-definition. Build autonomous worth. Construct sovereign value. Forge independent confidence. Establish self-determined identity. Create self-sourced being. Build intrinsic essence. These internal standards are foundation, our bedrock, our core, our essence, our truth, our reality, our sovereignty. I am worthy because I exist, not because others approve, not because others validate, not because others accept, not because others recognize, not because others affirm, because I exist. Existence is sufficient. Existence is worthy. Existence is valuable. Existence is confident. Existence is identity. Existence is self. Existence is being. This existential worth is unassailable, is unquestionable, is absolute, is permanent, is sovereign, is independent, is autonomous. Nobody can remove your existence. Nobody can invalidate your being. Nobody can eliminate your essence. Nobody can destroy your reality. Therefore, nobody can remove your worth. Nobody can invalidate your value. Nobody can eliminate your confidence. Nobody can destroy your identity. Therefore, invulnerable. Therefore, untouchable. Therefore, immune. Therefore, armored. Therefore, protected. Therefore, sovereign. Practice this protocol daily. Practice morning and evening. Practice consistently and permanently. Practice systematically and absolutely. Morning practice. Identify one external dependency, one validation source, one approval need, one opinion sensitivity, one judgment vulnerability. State severance. My worth is not determined by this person's opinion. Establish internal standard. I am worthy because I exist. Evening practice. Review day. When did you seek external validation? When did you need approval? When did you require acceptance? When did you want recognition? Identify moments. State severance for each. My worth is not determined by their response. Establish internal standard. I am worthy because I am. Daily practice. Daily severance. Daily internal establishment. Daily independence building. Daily autonomy creation. Daily sovereignty forging. After weeks, severance strengthens. Independence solidifies. Autonomy establishes. Sovereignty confirms. Self-sufficiency develops. Internal sourcing completes. After months, external dependencies weaken. Validation needs diminish. Approval requirements reduce. Acceptance dependencies decrease. Recognition wants fade. Affirmation needs disappear. After year, external independence complete. Internal worth established. Self-sourced value solid. Autonomous confidence permanent. Sovereign identity absolute. Independent self total. Through daily practice. Through consistent severance. Through permanent establishment. Through systematic building. Through absolute commitment. Through sovereign dedication. That is the key. Internal worth is not arrogance. Is not pride. Is not superiority. Is not narcissism. Is not self-importance. Is not grandiosity, is not egotism. Internal worth is truth, is reality, is fact, is accuracy, is correctness, is validity, is honesty. You are worthy. This is truth. You have value. This is fact. You are enough. This is reality. You matter. This is accuracy. You are sufficient. This is correctness. Not because you are perfect, not because you are excellent. Not because you are flawless, not because you are superior, not because you are special, because you exist, because you are, because you live, because you breathe, because you are human. Existence confers worth. Being confers value. Life confers significance. Humanity confers dignity. This is not earned. This is inherent. This is not achieved. This is intrinsic. This is not granted. This is given. Through existence, through being, through life, through humanity. Nobody can remove what is inherent. Nobody can eliminate what is intrinsic. Nobody can revoke what is given. Through existence itself. Therefore, your worth is secure. Your value is permanent. Your significance is absolute. Your dignity is inviolable. Your essence is protected. Your being is sovereign. This internal foundation creates impenetrable armor, creates absolute immunity, creates total invulnerability, creates complete protection, creates perfect fortification, creates supreme sovereignty against all external attacks, against all criticism, against all judgment, against all rejection, against all disapproval, against all invalidation, against all negation. All bounce off internal foundation. All deflect off sovereign worth. All block at autonomous value. All stop at independent confidence. all prevent its self-sourced identity. You remain untouched, remain unwounded, remain unaffected, remain protected, remain armored, remain invulnerable, remain sovereign. External validation creates vulnerability. Internal worth creates immunity. Build self-worth from within to become untouchable. You understand now that deriving worth from external validation creates total controllability. You understand that internal self-worth creates impenetrable armor through independence. You understand that three-step protocol establishes permanent internal foundation. Stop seeking worth from others' opinions. Start establishing worth from internal existence. Stop needing validation from external sources. Start creating validation from self-sufficiency. Stop depending on approval for confidence. Start building confidence from autonomous being. Practice three-step protocol now. Identify your external dependencies. Whose opinion matters most? Whose approval do you seek? Whose validation do you need? List completely. Sever connections verbally. My worth is not determined by their opinions. Declare daily. Affirm repeatedly. State permanently. Establish internal standards. I am worthy because I exist. Repeat morning and evening. Internalize completely. Believe absolutely. This builds armor, builds protection, builds immunity, builds invulnerability, builds sovereignty through internal worth, through self-source value, through autonomous confidence. Starting today, practicing daily, establishing permanently. You build internal worth now. Next, you must develop distance. Chapter 6. Develop emotional distance. Observe without absorbing. You absorb criticism, absorb insults, absorb attacks, absorb judgment, absorb negativity, absorb condemnation, absorb rejection, absorb disapproval. Absorption means taking in, taking inside, making part of self, internalizing, incorporating, merging with, assimilating, ingesting. Criticism arrives. You absorb it, take it inside, make it yours. Internalize message, incorporate judgment, merge with negativity, assimilate condemnation, ingest rejection. This absorption creates wounding, creates damage, creates pain, creates suffering, creates vulnerability, creates anguish, creates torment, creates distress. Why? Because absorbed criticism becomes part of you. Absorbed insult becomes your thought. Absorbed attack becomes your belief. Absorbed judgment becomes your truth. Absorbed negativity becomes your reality. Absorbed condemnation becomes your identity. Absorbed rejection becomes your essence. Absorbed disapproval becomes your being. That is the key. Absorption transforms external into internal, transforms others' opinions into your beliefs, transforms their judgments into your truths, transforms their negativity into your reality, transforms their condemnation into your identity, transforms their rejection into your essence, transforms their disapproval into your being. This transformation creates massive wounding, creates devastating damage, creates total pain, creates absolute suffering, creates complete vulnerability, creates supreme anguish, creates perfect torment, must stop absorbing, must create distance, must develop observation, must establish separation, must build barrier, must forge protection, must construct armor, through emotional distance, through observational awareness, through witnessing detachment, through conscious separation, through deliberate non-absorption. Consider absorption mechanism specifically. Consider how absorption operates. Consider why absorption wounds. Consider when absorption happens. Consider who absorbs most. Absorption is automatic response, unconscious response, untrained response, default response, natural response, for unarmored mind, for unprotected psychology, for vulnerable emotion, for defenseless being, for sensitive self. Criticism arrives through ears, through eyes, through perception, through awareness, through consciousness. Unarmored mind has no barrier. has no filter, has no protection, has no distance, has no separation. Criticism enters directly, enters immediately, enters completely, enters devastatingly, enters absorbingly, into mind, into emotion, into belief, into identity, into self. No resistance, no deflection, no blocking, no stopping, no preventing, direct absorption, immediate internalization, complete incorporation, devastating merging, total assimilation, like water in a sponge, like poison in a bloodstream, like virus in a cell, like darkness into light, like chaos into order. Criticism enters. Mind absorbs. Criticism becomes thought. Insult enters. Emotion absorbs. Insult becomes feeling. Attack enters. Belief absorbs. Attack becomes truth. Judgment enters. Identity absorbs. Judgment becomes self. Negativity enters. Being absorbs. Negativity becomes essence. This absorption is wounding mechanism, is damage process, is pain creation, is suffering generation, is vulnerability establishment. Must understand absorption, must recognize mechanism, must see process, must comprehend operation, must perceive reality. To stop absorption, to prevent internalization, to block incorporation, to eliminate merging, to prevent assimilation. Through distance, through observation, through witnessing, through separation, through non-absorption. Absorption creates wounding. Observation creates distance. Watch criticism pass without taking it in. How observation creates protective distance is revolutionary, is transformative, is liberating, is empowering, is armoring, is protecting, is immunizing. Observation creates distance, creates separation, creates protection, creates immunity, creates armor, creates invulnerability, creates sovereignty. Observe means witness without absorbing, watch without internalizing, notice without incorporating, recognize without merging, see without assimilating, perceive without ingesting, acknowledge without taking in. Criticism arrives. You observe it, watch it, notice it, recognize it, see it, perceive it, acknowledge it, but don't absorb it, don't internalize it, don't incorporate it, don't merge with it, don't assimilate it, don't ingest it, don't take it in. Criticism remains outside, remains external, remains separate, remains distant, remains unabsorbed, remains other, remains not self. You remain untouched, remain unaffected, remain unwounded, remain protected, remain armored, remain invulnerable, remain sovereign. This observation is like watching clouds, like watching weather, like watching waves, like watching birds, like watching traffic, like watching life. Clouds pass through sky. You watch clouds. You observe clouds. You notice clouds. You see clouds. You don't become clouds. You don't absorb clouds. You don't merge with clouds. You don't take in clouds. Clouds remain clouds. You remain you. Separate, distinct, distant, different, protected, armored. Same with criticism. Criticism passes through awareness. You observe criticism. You watch criticism. You notice criticism. You see criticism. You don't become criticism. You don't absorb criticism. You don't merge with criticism. You don't take in criticism. Criticism remains criticism. You remain you. Separate, distinct, distant, different, protected, armored, invulnerable. The mechanism of observational distance is precise, is specific, is powerful, is protective, is armoring. Observation creates space, creates gap, creates interval, creates buffer, creates barrier, creates distance between criticism and self, between attack and identity, between judgment and being, between negativity and essence, between condemnation and core, between rejection and reality. This space prevents absorption. This gap prevents internalization. This interval prevents incorporation. This buffer prevents merging. This barrier prevents assimilation. This distance prevents wounding. Criticism exists here. Self exists there. Space between. Gaps separating. Interval protecting. Buffer shielding. Barrier armoring. Distance immunizing. Criticism cannot reach self. Cannot touch identity. Cannot affect being. Cannot merge with essence. Cannot assimilate into core. Cannot wound reality. Because space prevents. Because gap protects. Because interval shields. Because buffer armors. Because barrier immunizes. Because distance sovereignizes. This is observational armor. This is witnessing protection. This is detached immunity. This is separated invulnerability. This is distance sovereignty. Most powerful armor. Most effective protection. Most complete immunity. Most absolute invulnerability. Most perfect sovereignty. Through observation. Through witnessing. Through detachment. Through separation. Through distance. Implementation requires trained observation. Requires practiced distance. Requires developed separation. Requires established witnessing. Requires constructed detachment. Requires forged barrier. 3-step observational protocol. Protocol is systematic, is structured, is powerful, is effective, is transformative, is armoring. Step 1. Recognize criticism arriving. Recognize immediately. Recognize consciously. Recognize deliberately. Recognize clearly. Recognize distinctly. Notice criticism coming. Become aware of incoming attack. Recognize approaching judgment. Perceive arriving negativity. Sense emerging condemnation. Detect nearing rejection. This recognition is first step. First defense. First protection. First armor. First barrier. Recognition creates awareness. Awareness creates consciousness. Consciousness creates choice. Choice creates control. Control creates protection. Must recognize criticism moment arrives. Must notice attack instant it comes. Must become aware immediately upon perception. Must recognize before absorption. Must notice before internalization. Must become aware before incorporation. This immediate recognition is critical, is essential, is protective, is armoring, is life-saving. Without recognition, absorption automatic. Without notice, internalization immediate. Without awareness, incorporation instant. Recognition prevents automatic absorption. Notice prevents immediate internalization. Awareness prevents instant incorporation. Through consciousness, through deliberateness, through intentionality, through mindfulness, through presence. Step 2. Label as observation. Label explicitly. Label verbally. Label consciously. Label deliberately. Label systematically. Say internally or externally. Say clearly. Say firmly. Say distinctly. Say repeatedly. I observe this criticism. I notice this insult. I recognize this attack. I see this judgment. I witness this negativity. I perceive this condemnation. I acknowledge this rejection. Label explicitly. Name as observation. Define as watching. State as witnessing. Declare as noticing. Affirm as perceiving. This labeling is critical, is essential, is transformative, is protective, is armoring, is distancing. Labeling creates distance, creates separation, creates space, creates gap, creates interval, creates barrier between criticism and self, between observation and absorption, between witnessing and internalizing, between noticing and incorporating, between perceiving and merging, between acknowledging and assimilating. The label, I observe, creates observer, creates witness, creates noticer, creates perceiver, creates acknowledger, creates separate entity, entity that observes. That does not become, that witnesses, that does not merge, that notices, that does not absorb. Observer is separate from observed. Witness is separate from witnessed. Noticer is separate from noticed. This separation is protection, is armor, is immunity, is invulnerability, is sovereignty. Must label criticism as observation. must name attack as witnessing, must define judgment as noticing, must state negativity as perceiving. Through language, through words, through labels, through names, through definitions that create distance, that establish separation, that build protection, that forge armor, that construct immunity. Step 3. Let criticism pass. Let pass like clouds. Let pass like weather. Let pass like waves. Let pass like wind. Let pass like time. Let pass like thoughts. Let pass like sensations. Criticism arrives. You observe. Label as observation. Then let pass. Let move through. Let flow past. Let drift away. Let fade out. Let disappear. Let dissolve. Like clouds passing through sky. Clouds come. Clouds stay briefly. Clouds go. Sky remains unchanged. Like waves passing through ocean. Waves come. Waves crest. Waves break. Waves go. Ocean remains unchanged. Like wind passing through trees. Wind comes. Trees bend. Wind goes. Trees return. Same with criticism. Criticism comes. You observe. You label. Criticism passes. You remain. Unchanged. Unaffected. Unwounded. Untouched. Protected. Armored. Invulnerable. This passing is natural. Is automatic. Is inevitable. Is guaranteed. Is protective. All things pass. All phenomena are temporary. All experiences are transient. All events are impermanent. Criticism is temporary. Criticism is transient. Criticism is impermanent. Criticism comes. Criticism goes. You remain. Remain observing. Remain witnessing. Remain noticing. Remain perceiving. Remain separate. Remain distinct. Remain protected. Remain armored. Remain invulnerable. Remain sovereign. Through letting pass. Through non-holding. Through non-grasping. Through non-absorbing. Through non-internalizing. Through non-incorporating. Through observational distance. Through witnessing detachment. Through noticing separation. Practice this protocol systematically. Practice every criticism. Practice every insult. Practice every attack. Practice every judgment. Practice every negativity. Practice every condemnation. Practice every rejection. Until observation becomes automatic. Until witnessing becomes reflexive. Until noticing becomes natural. Until distance becomes permanent. Until separation becomes complete. Until armor becomes impenetrable. First observations require effort, require attention, require focus, require discipline, require practice. Criticism arrives. Must remember to recognize. Must remember to label. Must remember to let pass. Requires conscious effort. Requires deliberate action. Requires focused attention. After tens of observations, becomes easier. After hundreds of observations, becomes natural. After thousands of observations, becomes automatic. Criticism arrives. Recognition happens automatically. Labeling occurs reflexively. Passing happens naturally. I observe this criticism passing. Automatic observation. Automatic witnessing. Automatic noticing. Automatic distance. Automatic separation. Automatic armor. Automatic protection. Automatic immunity. Automatic invulnerability. Automatic sovereignty. Through practiced observation. Through trained witnessing. Through developed noticing. Through established distance. Through constructed separation. Through forged armor. That becomes nature. That becomes being. That becomes essence. That becomes self. That becomes reality. That becomes truth. Permanently. Automatically. Reflexively. Naturally. Effortlessly. Sovereignly. Advanced practice. Continuous observation. Observe not just criticism. Observe all mental phenomena. Observe all thoughts. Observe all emotions. Observe all sensations. Observe all experiences. Observe all perceptions. Observe continuously. Observe constantly. Observe permanently. This continuous observation develops observer, develops witness, develops noticer, develops perceiver, develops separation, develops distance, develops detachment, develops armor, develops immunity, develops sovereignty. Meditation practice supports this. Mindfulness meditation, vipassana meditation, observation meditation, witnessing meditation. Any meditation developing observational capacity. Sit quietly. Observe breath. Observe thoughts. Observe sensations. Observe emotions. Just observe. Just witness. Just notice. Don't engage. Don't judge. Don't react. Don't absorb. Just observe. This practice strengthens observer, strengthens witness, strengthens noticer, strengthens perceiver, strengthens separation, strengthens distance, strengthens armor. Daily meditation. 10 minutes minimum. 20 minutes preferred. 30 minutes optimal. Develops observational capacity. Develops witnessing ability. Develops noticing skill. Develops distance maintenance. Develops separation establishment. Develops armor construction. That transfers to criticism. That transfers to attacks. That transfers to judgments. That transfers to negativity. That transfers to life. Automatic observation. Automatic witnessing. Automatic noticing. Automatic distance. Automatic armor. Of all phenomena, including criticism, including attacks, including judgments, including negativity, all observed, all witnessed, all noticed, all kept at distance, all separated, all unable to wound, through continuous observation, through permanent witnessing, through constant noticing, through established distance, through maintained separation, through constructed armor. Absorption creates wounding. Observation creates distance. Watch criticism pass without taking it in. You understand now that absorption transforms external criticism into internal wound. You understand that observation creates protective distance through witnessing. You understand that three-step protocol establishes automatic observational armor. Stop absorbing criticism into self. Start observing criticism as external phenomenon. Stop internalizing attacks as truth. Start witnessing attacks as passing events. Stop incorporating judgments into identity. Start noticing judgments as temporary occurrences. Practice three-step protocol now. Next, criticism. Recognize immediately upon arrival. Notice criticism coming. Become aware instantly. Label as observation explicitly. I observe this criticism. Say verbally or internally. State clearly and firmly. Let criticism pass naturally, like clouds passing through sky, like waves moving through ocean. Don't hold. Don't grasp. Don't absorb. Let pass. Observe passing. Watch departing. Notice dissolving. This creates distance, creates separation, creates protection, creates armor, creates immunity, through observation, through witnessing, through noticing. Starting today, practicing consistently, observing permanently. You develop distance now. Next, you must extract data. Chapter 7. Use criticism as data. Extract value. Discard poison. You treat criticism as all good or all bad, all valid or all invalid, all true or all false, all helpful or all harmful, all worthy or all worthless, all right or all wrong, all accept or all reject, all believe or all dismiss. This binary thinking prevents learning, prevents growth, prevents improvement, prevents wisdom, prevents strength, prevents development, prevents evolution, prevents advancement. Most criticism contains mix, contains combination, contains blend, contains merger, contains mixture, mix of truth and falsehood, mix of value and poison, mix of data and projection, mix of insight and insecurity, mix of help and harm, mix of accuracy and distortion, mix of wisdom and wound, mix of constructive and destructive. Binary thinking forces choice, forces selection, forces decision, forces picking, forces either or, accept all or reject all, believe all or dismiss all, internalize all or ignore all. Take all or leave all. Absorb all or deflect all. This choice is false, is unnecessary, is limiting, is damaging, is simplistic, is primitive, is harmful, is counterproductive. Must develop nuanced approach. Must develop sophisticated response. Must develop discriminating analysis. Must develop selective extraction. Must develop intelligent filtering. Must extract value. Must discard poison. Must separate data from emotion. Must distinguish insight from insecurity. Must differentiate help from harm. Must filter criticism intelligently. Must analyze criticism systematically. Must process criticism productively. Consider why binary thinking dominates. Consider specifically. Consider psychologically. Consider mechanically. Consider vulnerably. Binary thinking is defensive thinking, is protective thinking, is self-preservation thinking, is wounded thinking, is traumatized thinking. When criticism wounds deeply, when attacks damage severely, when judgments hurt intensely, mind develops defense, develops protection, develops shield, develops barrier, develops wall. Defense is binary response, is all or nothing response, is complete acceptance or complete rejection, is total belief or total dismissal, is full internalization or full deflection. Why? Because nuance requires vulnerability. Discrimination requires openness. Selection requires examination. Extraction requires processing. Filtering requires engagement. Engagement risks wounding, risks damage, risks pain, risks suffering, risks vulnerability. Wounded mind avoids engagement, avoids examination, avoids processing, avoids discrimination, avoids nuance. Through binary response, through all or nothing defense, through complete acceptance or complete rejection. Accept all, wounds from invalid criticism. Reject all, misses valid feedback. Both responses prevent learning. Both prevent growth. Both prevent improvement. Both prevent wisdom. Both prevent development. Must transcend binary thinking. Must develop nuanced approach. Must create sophisticated analysis. Must build discriminating response. Must establish selective extraction. Through intelligence. Through wisdom. Through maturity. Through courage. Through strength. Criticism contains both data and poison. Extract value, discard emotion. Use criticism for growth without wounding. How data extraction neutralizes emotional impact is transformative, is liberating, is empowering, is growth enabling, is strength building, is wisdom creating, is armor constructing. Data extraction neutralizes criticism, neutralizes emotional impact, neutralizes wounding potential, neutralizes vulnerability creation, neutralizes pain generation, neutralizes damage capacity, neutralizes harm possibility. When you treat criticism as data, emotion disappears, wounding stops, pain eliminates, vulnerability removes, damage prevents, harm blocks, suffering ceases. Criticism becomes information, becomes neutral information, becomes useful information, becomes valuable information, becomes learning opportunity, becomes growth material, becomes improvement data, becomes development content. No longer attack, no longer wound, no longer pain, no longer suffering, no longer damage, no longer harm. Just data, just information, just input, just material, just content, just analysis subject, just extraction opportunity. Someone criticizes your presentation. Old binary responses. Accept all and feel devastated. Reject all and miss feedback. New data response. Extract value. Discard poison. Analyze systematically. Separate components. Identify valid points. Recognize projection elements. Extract useful data. Discard emotional poison. Data point. Presentation structure needs improvement. Value. Reorganize next time. Poison. Harsh personal attack tone. Discard. Emotional content attacking character. Keep. Structural feedback about organization. Discard. Judgmental language about competence. Criticism analyzed. Components separated. Value extracted. Poison discarded. Useful data retained. Harmful emotion eliminated. You remain unwounded. Remain protected. Remain armored. Remain learning. Remain growing. Remain improving. This data approach creates immunity, creates protection, creates armor, creates growth, creates wisdom, creates strength. The mechanism of data extraction is systematic, is structured, is powerful, is effective, is protective, is growth-enabling. Data extraction separates content from delivery, separates message from emotion, separates information from attack, separates truth from projection, separates value from poison, separates wheat from chaff, separates signal from noise. Content is what is said. Delivery is how it is said. Content is message. Delivery is emotion. Content is information. Delivery is attack. Content is data. Delivery is projection. Content may be valuable. Delivery may be harmful. Can extract valuable content. Can discard harmful delivery. Can keep useful message. Can eliminate attacking emotion. Can retain accurate information. Can remove projecting tone. Can preserve valid data. Can delete poisonous packaging. This separation is critical, is essential, is protective, is growth-enabling. Without separation, valuable content gets rejected, gets dismissed along with harmful delivery, gets lost along with attacking emotion, gets discarded along with projecting tone. Baby thrown out with bathwater. Wisdom rejected with wound. Truth dismissed with attack. Value lost with poison. Must separate. Must discriminate. Must distinguish. Must differentiate. Must extract. Must filter. To preserve value. To discard poison. To learn from criticism. To grow from feedback. Without wounding. Without absorbing poison. Without internalizing attack. With armor. With protection. With immunity. Implementation requires systematic analysis, requires structure extraction, requires practiced filtering, requires disciplined discrimination, requires intelligent separation. 5-step data extraction protocol. Protocol is comprehensive, is systematic, is powerful, is effective, is transformative, is growth-enabling. Step 1. Receive criticism completely. Receive fully. Receive entirely. Receive totally. Receive openly. Receive non-defensively. Hear fully. Listen completely. Receive entirely. Without interrupting. Without defending. Without reacting. Without rejecting. Without dismissing. Without closing. Just receive. Complete reception. Full hearing. Total listening. Open receiving. This reception is challenging. Requires discipline. Requires maturity. Requires strength. Requires courage. Natural response is defensive, is protective, is reactive, is rejecting, is dismissing. Must override natural response. Must receive completely. Must listen fully. Must hear entirely. Why? Because cannot extract data from unheard criticism. Cannot analyze unreceived feedback. Cannot filter dismissed input. Cannot separate rejected content. Must receive first. Must hear completely. Must listen fully. Then analyze. Then extract. Then filter. Then separate. Complete reception enables everything else. Enables analysis. Enables extraction. Enables filtering. Enables separation. Enables learning. Enables growth. Without reception, nothing possible. Nothing analyzable. Nothing extractable, nothing filterable, nothing learnable. Reception is foundation, is essential, is mandatory, is critical, is primary. Step 2. Separate content from delivery. Separate systematically. Separate deliberately. Separate consciously. Separate completely. Separate precisely. Content is what? Delivery is how. Content is message. Delivery is emotion. Content is information. Delivery is tone. Content is data. Delivery is projection. Content is substance. Delivery is style. Separate these. Distinguish content. Isolate message. Extract information. Identify data. Capture substance. Ignore delivery. Discard emotion. Remove tone. Eliminate projection. Delete style. Criticism. Your report is disorganized and you're incompetent. Content. Report is disorganized. Delivery. You're incompetent. Separate these. Content is feedback. Delivery is attack. Content is valid. Delivery is projection. Content is useful. Delivery is poison. Keep content. Discard delivery. Extract report is disorganized. Delete you're incompetent. Analyze content. Is report disorganized? Examine objectively. Review structure. Check organization. If yes, valid feedback. If no, invalid feedback. Either way, delivery is poison. Is attack. Is projection. Is judgment of being. Must discard. Must delete. Must eliminate. Regardless of content validity. Delivery adds nothing. Delivery only wounds. Delivery only attacks. Delivery only projects. Delivery only poisons. Must separate. Must discard. Must eliminate. Always. Systematically. Completely. This separation prevents wounding. Prevents attack absorption. Prevents projection internalization. Prevents poison ingestion. Through discrimination. Through distinction. Through separation. Through filtering. Through extraction. Step 3. Identify valid points. Identify systematically. Identify objectively. Identify honestly. Identify completely. Identify accurately. What is true? What is accurate? What is useful? What is valuable? What is insightful? What is helpful? What is constructive? What is correct? Identify validity. Extract truth. Recognize accuracy. Capture usefulness. Collect value. Gather insight. Keep helpfulness. Preserve constructiveness. This identification requires objectivity, requires honesty, requires humility, requires openness, requires non-defensiveness, requires maturity, requires courage. Natural response is defensive rejection, is protective dismissal, is ego preservation denial, is face-saving refusal, must override natural response, must examine objectively, must assess honestly, must consider humbly, must evaluate openly, must analyze non-defensively, ask questions, ask honestly, ask objectively, ask courageously. Is this criticism valid? Is this feedback accurate? Is this point true? Is this assessment correct? Is this observation right? Examine evidence. Review facts. Check reality. Assess objectively. Determine honestly. Sometimes answer is yes. Criticism is valid. Feedback is accurate. Point is true. Assessment is correct. Observation is right. Painful answer. Ego-challenging answer. Humbling answer. But truthful answer. Must accept valid criticism. Must acknowledge accurate feedback. Must recognize true points. Must admit correct assessments. Must embrace right observations. This acceptance enables growth, enables improvement, enables development, enables evolution, enables wisdom, through valid criticism, through accurate feedback, through true points, through correct assessments, through right observations, that you extracted, that you identified, that you acknowledged, that you accepted, that you implemented. Step 4. Discard invalid content. Discard systematically. Discard completely. Discard consciously. Discard deliberately. Discard permanently. What is false? What is projection? What is insecurity? What is poison? What is harmful? What is attacking? What is wounding? What is distorted? Discard invalidity. Remove projection. Eliminate insecurity. Throw away poison. Delete harm. Erase attack. Obliterate wound. Destroy distortion. This discarding requires clarity, requires firmness, requires decisiveness, requires strength, requires sovereignty, requires boundaries, requires self-protection. After identifying valid points, after extracting useful data, after capturing valuable feedback, remaining content is invalid. Is projection, is insecurity, is poison, is harmful, must discard, must remove, must eliminate, must delete, must throw away, completely, permanently, absolutely. Do not internalize invalid content. Do not absorb projection. Do not incorporate insecurity. Do not take in poison. Do not accept harm. Do not merge with attack. Do not assimilate wound. Do not integrate distortion. Invalid content adds nothing, teaches nothing, helps nothing, improves nothing, only harms, only wounds, only poisons, only attacks, only projects, only distorts. Must recognize invalidity, must identify projection, must see insecurity, must perceive poison, then discard, completely, permanently, without hesitation, without doubt, without guilt. Invalid content deserves no space, deserves no consideration, deserves no internalization, deserves only discarding, only elimination, only deletion, through clear discrimination, through firm boundaries, through decisive rejection, through sovereign self-protection. Step 5. Implement valid insights. Implement systematically. Implement deliberately. Implement practically. Implement completely. Implement permanently. Use extracted data. Apply identified truth. Implement recognized accuracy. Execute captured usefulness. Integrate collected value. Deploy gathered insight. Utilize kept helpfulness. Apply preserved constructiveness. This implementation creates growth, creates improvement, creates development, creates evolution, creates advancement, creates wisdom, creates strength. Valid criticism is gift. Valid feedback is opportunity. Valid insight is treasure. Valid data is value. Must use gift. Must seize opportunity. Must value treasure. Must utilize value. Through implementation. Through application. Through integration. Through execution. Through practice. How to implement. Create action plan. Define specific steps. Establish timeline. Determine measures. Commit to execution. Monitor progress. Adjust as needed. Valid criticism. Report structure is disorganized. Implementation. Review report structure. Identify organizational problems. Research effective structures. Redesign organization. Rewrite with new structure. Review improvement. Apply learning to future reports. Valid feedback implemented. Growth achieved. Improvement realized. Development completed. Through systematic implementation. Through practical application. Through concrete execution. This implementation transforms criticism from potential wound into actual growth, from possible pain into realized improvement, from threatening attack into valuable learning, through data extraction, through systematic analysis, through intelligent filtering, through discriminating separation, through valuable implementation. This 5-step protocol creates learning from criticism, creates growth from attack, creates improvement from judgment, creates wisdom from negativity, creates strength from condemnation, creates development from rejection, without wounding, without absorbing, without internalizing, without pain, without suffering, without damage, with armor, with protection, with immunity, with growth, with wisdom, with strength, through systematic analysis, through structured extraction, through intelligent filtering, through discriminating separation, through valuable implementation. Practice this protocol systematically. Practice every criticism. Practice every feedback. Practice every judgment. Practice every evaluation. Practice every assessment until systematic, until automatic, until natural, until reflexive, until permanent. First, protocols require conscious effort, require deliberate execution, require focused discipline. After dozens of protocols, becomes easier. After hundreds of protocols, becomes natural. After thousands of protocols, becomes automatic. Criticism arrives. Protocol activates automatically. Reception completes. Separation happens. Valid points identify. Invalid content discards. Implementation begins. All automatically. All reflexively. All naturally. This creates wisdom. Creates growth. Creates strength. Creates immunity. Through systematic data extraction. Through intelligent criticism analysis. Through discriminating value selection. Criticism contains both data and poison. Extract value, discard emotion. Use criticism for growth without wounding. You understand now that binary thinking prevents learning by forcing all-or-nothing response. You understand that data extraction neutralizes emotion by treating criticism as information. You understand that 5-step protocol enables growth without wounding through systematic analysis. Stop accepting all criticism or rejecting all criticism. Start analyzing criticism systematically for value extraction. Stop being wounded by all feedback. Start separating valid content from invalid delivery. Stop missing learning opportunities for binary response. Start implementing 5-step protocol for growth. Next, criticism. Receive completely without defense. Separate content from delivery systematically. Identify valid points objectively and honestly. Discard invalid content completely and permanently. Implement valid insights practically and deliberately. This creates growth, creates learning, creates improvement, creates wisdom, creates strength, without wounding, without pain, without absorption, with armor, with protection, with immunity, through data extraction, through systematic analysis, through intelligent filtering. Starting today, practicing consistently, extracting permanently. You extract data now. Next, you must train immunity. Chapter 8. Practice preemptive desensitization. Train immunity before attack. You wait for criticism to arrive. Wait for attacks to happen. Wait for insults to come. Wait for judgment to occur. Wait for negativity to emerge. Wait for condemnation to surface. Wait for rejection to manifest. Then try to respond. Then try to protect. Then try to armor. Then try to defend. Then try to cope. Then try to manage. Then try to survive. This reactive approach fails. Fails consistently. Fails predictably. Fails inevitably. Fails completely. Fails devastatingly. Fails permanently. Why? Because unprepared mind is vulnerable mind. Untrained response is automatic wounding. Unpracticed defense is no defense. Unrehearsed armor is no armor. Unfortified psychology is complete exposure. Unexercised immunity is total vulnerability. Unstrengthened resilience is absolute weakness. Criticism arrives, catches you unprepared, catches you untrained, catches you unpracticed, catches you unrehearsed, catches you unfortified, catches you vulnerable, wounds automatically, penetrates easily, damages quickly, hurts deeply, destroys thoroughly, devastates completely. You scramble to respond, scramble to protect, scramble to armor, scramble to defend, scramble to cope, scramble to manage. Too late. Wound already inflicted, damage already done, pain already experienced, suffering already occurring, devastation already completing. Reactive approach creates vulnerability, creates wounding, creates defenselessness, creates suffering, creates damage, creates devastation. Must become proactive, must train before attack, must practice before criticism, must build immunity through preparation, must create armor through training, must establish protection through practice, must forge resilience through exercise. Before attacks arrive, before criticism comes, before insults happen, before judgment occurs, before negativity emerges, before condemnation surfaces. Proactive preparation creates immunity, creates armor, creates protection, creates resilience. creates strength, creates invulnerability. Consider military training analogy completely. Consider specifically. Consider systematically. Consider transformatively. Military trains soldiers before combat, before battle, before war, before enemy engagement, before attack occurrence. Why? Because untrained soldier is dead soldier. Unprepared soldier is casualty. Unpracticed soldier is victim. Unrehearsed soldier is fatality. Training happens before combat. Preparation happens before battle. Practice happens before war. Exercise happens before engagement. Soldiers practice shooting. Practice countless times. Thousands of rounds. Tens of thousands of rounds. Until automatic. Until reflexive. Until muscle memory. Until unconscious competence. Soldiers practice tactics. Practice repeatedly. Hundreds of drills. Thousands of repetitions. Until instinctive. Until natural. Until second nature. Until ingrained response. Soldiers practice scenarios. Practice systematically. Combat simulations. Battle rehearsals. War games. Enemy encounters. Until prepared. Until ready. Until capable. Until effective. All training happens before actual combat. Before real battle. Before genuine war. Before true engagement. Why does this work? Because training creates preparation. Creates readiness. Creates capability, creates effectiveness, creates survival, creates victory. When real combat arrives, trained soldier responds automatically, responds effectively, responds successfully, responds survivingly. Through training, through preparation, through practice, through exercise, through rehearsal. Same principle applies to psychological combat. Same principle applies to criticism warfare. Same principle applies to attack engagement. Same principle applies to judgment battle. Must train before psychological combat. Must prepare before criticism arrival. Must practice before attack occurrence. Must exercise before judgment engagement. Must rehearse before negativity emergence. Through psychological training. Through mental preparation. Through emotional practice, through resilience exercise, through immunity rehearsal. Reactive defense fails. Proactive training succeeds. Desensitized through exposure before attacks arrive. How exposure training builds psychological immunity is scientific, is proven, is systematic, is powerful, is transformative, is protective, is armoring. Exposure training builds immunity. Builds psychological immunity, builds emotional armor, builds mental protection, builds criticism resistance, builds attack deflection, builds judgment tolerance. Same principle as physical immunity. Same mechanism as vaccination. Same process as inoculation. Same system as immunization. Same method as antibody creation. Physical immunity works through exposure. Through controlled exposure, through progressive exposure, through systematic exposure, through safe exposure. Expose body to weaken virus. Body recognizes threat. Body creates antibodies. Body builds immunity. Next, exposure to real virus. Antibodies activate. Antibodies fight virus. Antibodies prevent infection. Body is immune. Through exposure training. Through antibody creation, through immunity building. Psychological immunity works identically. Works through exposure, through controlled exposure, through progressive exposure, through systematic exposure, through safe exposure. Expose mind to imagine criticism. Mind recognizes threat. Mind creates defenses. Mind builds immunity. Next, exposure to real criticism. Defenses activate. Defenses deflect criticism. Defenses prevent wounding. Mind is immune. Through exposure training. Through defense creation. Through immunity building. Same mechanism. Same process. Same system. Same effectiveness. Physical immunity protects body. Psychological immunity protects mind. Both through exposure. Both through training. Both through preparation. Both through practice. both through systematic desensitization. Implementation requires structured training, requires systematic practice, requires progressive exposure, requires disciplined execution, requires consistent application, requires permanent commitment. Four-phase desensitization protocol. Protocol is comprehensive, is systematic, is progressive, is powerful, is effective, is transformative. Phase 1. Identify vulnerability areas. Identify specifically. Identify completely. Identify honestly. Identify brutally. Identify transformatively. What criticism hurts most? What insults wound deepest? What attacks penetrate strongest? What judgments affect most? What negativity disturbs greatest? What condemnation damages most? What rejection destroys most? Identify vulnerabilities. List weaknesses. Note sensitivities. Recognize wounding spots. Map defenseless areas. Catalog pain points. Document vulnerability zones. This identification is critical, is essential, is foundational. Cannot desensitize to unknown vulnerabilities. Cannot train immunity to unidentified weaknesses. Cannot build armor for unmapped sensitivities. Must identify first. Must recognize completely. Must understand thoroughly. Exercise. List your vulnerability areas. What topics hurt most? Appearance criticism, intelligence attacks, competence judgments, character condemnations, worth rejections, work evaluations, relationship assessments. List completely. List honestly. Then rank by pain intensity. Which hurts most? Which hurts second most? Which hurts third? Rank all. This ranking reveals training priorities, reveals desensitization targets, reveals immunity building order. Start with most painful. Build immunity to worst first, then second worst, then third worst. Progressive desensitization, progressive immunity building, progressive armor construction. From most vulnerable to least vulnerable. From weakest point to strongest point. From greatest pain to smallest pain. Phase 2. Create exposure script. Create deliberately. Create systematically. Create comprehensively. Create specifically. Create harshly. Write criticism yourself. Write harshest possible criticism. Write most devastating insults. Write strongest attacks. Write deepest judgments. Write worst condemnations. Write most painful rejections. Write in vulnerability areas. Write targeting weaknesses. Write striking sensitivities. Write hitting pain points. Write attacking vulnerability zones. Write maximizing damage. This writing feels wrong, feels counterintuitive, feels self-attacking, feels self-harming, feels masochistic, but is training, is preparation, is inoculation, is immunity building, is armor construction. Must write harshly, must write devastatingly, must write maximally. Why? Because training must match or exceed reality. Training criticism must equal or surpass real criticism. Training attacks must match or exceed real attacks. If training is harsher than reality, reality becomes manageable, becomes tolerable, becomes survivable. If training is softer than reality, reality overwhelms. Reality devastates. Reality destroys. Training must be harsh, must be maximum, must be worst possible. Example vulnerability area, intelligence. Exposure script, you are stupid. You are intellectually deficient. You lack basic reasoning ability. Your thoughts are primitive. Your ideas are worthless. Your mind is inadequate. You are intellectually inferior. You are cognitively limited. You are mentally defective. Harsh script, devastating script, maximum attack script. This is training material. This is desensitization content. This is immunity building script. Create similar scripts for each vulnerability area, for each weakness, for each sensitivity, for each pain point. Comprehensive coverage, complete targeting, total exposure, all vulnerabilities addressed, all weaknesses covered, all sensitivities included. Phase 3. Systematic exposure practice. Practice systematically. Practice progressively. Practice consistently. Practice permanently. Practice courageously. Read exposure script. Read aloud. Read repeatedly. Read daily. Read multiple times. Expose yourself deliberately. Expose yourself systematically. Expose yourself progressively. Expose yourself consistently. Expose yourself courageously. First reading. Strong emotional reaction. Very strong reaction. Intense reaction. Painful reaction. Wounding reaction. Heart races. Stomach tightens. Breath shortens. Emotion floods. Pain strikes. This is normal. This is expected. This is part of training. This is desensitization process. Continue reading. Second reading. Slightly reduced reaction. Still strong. Still painful. Still wounding. But slightly less. Third reading. Further reduced reaction. Still uncomfortable. Still disturbing. Still affecting. But noticeably less. Fourth reading. Continued reduction. Fifth reading. Continued reduction. 10th reading. Significantly reduced reaction. Much less emotion. Much less pain. Much less wounding. Pattern continues. 20th reading. Minimal reaction. Little emotion. Little pain. Little wounding. 30th reading. Very minimal reaction. Slight discomfort. Slight disturbance. Slight effect. 50th reading. Almost no reaction. Almost no emotion. Almost no pain. Almost no wounding. Complete desensitization. Complete immunity. Complete armor. To this specific criticism. To this specific attack. To this specific vulnerability. Through systematic exposure. Through repeated practice. Through progressive desensitization. Through immunity building. Through armor construction. The mechanism of desensitization is neurological, is psychological, is biological, is automatic, is guaranteed. Repeated exposure reduces response, reduces automatically, reduces progressively, reduces inevitably, reduces completely. Why? Because brain adapts, brain habituates, brain normalizes, brain desensitizes. First exposure. Brain perceives threat, activates alarm, triggers stress response, generates emotion, creates pain, creates suffering. Second exposure. Brain recognizes same threat, same alarm, same stress response, same emotion, same pain, but slightly reduced. 10th exposure. Brain has encountered this many times. Alarm weakens. Stress response diminishes. Emotion reduces. Pain lessens. 50th exposure. Brain completely adapted. Alarm minimal. Stress response tiny. Emotion barely present. Pain nearly gone. This is habituation. This is desensitization. This is adaptation. This is normalization. This is immunity creation. Through repeated exposure. Through systematic practice. Through progressive adaptation. This works. This is science. This is proven. This is reliable. This is effective. This is transformative. Systematic desensitization was developed by Joseph Wolpe. Proven effective for phobias. Proven effective for anxieties. Proven effective for fears. Proven effective for psychological sensitivities. Works through graduated exposure. Works through progressive desensitization. Works through immunity building. Same principles apply to criticism sensitivity. Apply to attack vulnerability. Apply to judgment pain. Apply to negativity wounding. Through systematic exposure. Through progressive desensitization. Through immunity building. Phase 4. Real-world application. Apply training. Apply immunity. Apply armor. Apply protection. Apply desensitization. When real criticism arrives, immunity active, armor established, protection functioning, desensitization complete, reaction minimized, wounding prevented, invulnerability achieved, through training, through preparation, through systematic desensitization. Real criticism matches training criticism, or is less harsh than training. Training prepared you. Training immunized you. Training armored you. Reaction is minimal. Pain is slight. Wounding is prevented. You observe criticism. You notice reduced reaction. You recognize immunity functioning. You appreciate training effectiveness. You experience armor protection. You realize invulnerability achievement. Through preparation, through practice, through training, through systematic desensitization. This real-world validation reinforces training, reinforces practice, reinforces desensitization, reinforces immunity, reinforces armor, creates confidence, creates strength, creates power, creates sovereignty in your immunity, in your armor, in your protection, in your invulnerability, through proven effectiveness, through demonstrated results, through validated training. Continue training, continue desensitization, continue immunity building for all vulnerability areas, for all weaknesses, for all sensitivities, until comprehensive immunity, until complete armor, until total protection, until absolute invulnerability, through systematic desensitization, through progressive exposure, through permanent training, advanced training, increase exposure difficulty, progress to harsher scripts, progress to more devastating criticism, progress to more intense attacks, progressive overload principle, same principle as physical training. Lifting heavier weights builds stronger muscles. Exposing to harsher criticism builds stronger immunity. Start with harsh scripts, build immunity, then increase harshness. Write even harsher scripts, more devastating criticism, more intense attacks, more painful judgments. Practice with increased difficulty. Build stronger immunity. Build deeper armor. Build greater protection. Progressive difficulty. Progressive intensity. Progressive harshness. Builds progressive immunity. Builds progressive armor. Builds progressive invulnerability. Until immune to maximum possible criticism. Until armored against worst possible attacks. Until protected from harshest possible judgments. Through progressive exposure training. Through systematic difficulty increase. Through permanent immunity building. Also practice varied scenarios. Various criticism sources. Various attack contexts. Various judgment situations. Boss criticism. Partner attacks, family judgments, friend rejections, stranger insults, public condemnations, various scenarios, various sources, various contexts. Build comprehensive immunity. Build complete armor. Build total protection against all criticism, from all sources, in all contexts, through varied exposure, through comprehensive training, through systematic desensitization. Reactive defense fails. Proactive training succeeds. Desensitize through exposure before attacks arrive. You understand now that waiting for attacks creates vulnerability through unpreparedness. You understand that exposure training builds immunity through systematic desensitization. You understand that four-phase protocol creates armor through progressive preparation. Stop waiting reactively for criticism to wound you. Start training proactively to build immunity before attacks. Stop being unprepared and vulnerable. Start being trained and armored. Stop reacting to criticism with automatic wounding. Start responding with trained immunity. Practice four-phase protocol now. Identify your vulnerability areas systematically. What criticism hurts most? Appearance? Intelligence? Competence? Character? List completely and rank by pain. Create exposure scripts deliberately. Write harshest possible criticism for each vulnerability. Write devastatingly and maximally. Practice systematic exposure daily. Read scripts aloud repeatedly until desensitized. First reading's painful. 50th reading minimal reaction. Complete immunity. Apply to real world automatically. When real criticism arrives, immunity functions. Armor protects. Wounding prevents. This creates invulnerability, creates protection, creates armor. Through training, through preparation, through systematic desensitization. Starting today, practicing daily, building permanently. You train immunity now. Next, you must maintain sovereignty. Chapter 9. Maintain emotional sovereignty. Your peace is non-negotiable. You give away emotional sovereignty. Give away peace control. Give away stability power. Give away calm authority. Give away serenity dominion. Give away tranquility governance. Give away equilibrium rule. Give away composure command. To whom? To critics, to insulters, to attackers, to judges, to condemners, to rejectors, to anyone who speaks negatively, to everyone who criticizes. They speak. Your peace disturbs. They criticize. Your stability shakes. They insult. Your calm disrupts. They attack. Your serenity destroys. They condemn. Your tranquility shatters. They reject. Your equilibrium collapses. They judge. Your composure breaks. They control your emotional state. They determine your peace. They decide your stability. They dictate your calm. They govern your serenity. They rule your tranquility. They command your equilibrium. They dominate your composure. This is surrendered sovereignty. This is given away control. This is abandoned authority. This is relinquished power. This is transferred dominion. This is ceded governance. This is yielded rule. This is forfeited command. You made them emotional sovereign, made them peace controller, made them stability determiner, made them calm decider, made them serenity dictator, made them tranquility governor, made them equilibrium ruler, made them composure commander, through allowing their words to affect you, through permitting their judgments to disturb you, through letting their attacks penetrate you, through enabling their criticism to control you, through accepting their insults to govern you, through tolerating their condemnation to rule you. Must reclaim sovereignty, must take back control, must reestablish authority, must restore power, must recover dominion, must regain governance, must recapture rule, must retrieve command. Consider the surrendered sovereignty specifically. Consider mechanically. Consider devastatingly. Consider transformatively. Consider reclamatively. Someone criticizes your work. External event. Their words. Their opinion. Their judgment. Their assessment. Their evaluation. Completely external. Completely outside you. Completely in their control. Completely their domain. Completely their sovereignty. Their words should stay in their domain. Should remain in their sovereignty. Should stay external. Should remain outside. Should stay separate. But you allow transfer. Allow sovereignty transfer. Allow control transfer. Allow power transfer. Allow their words to enter your domain, to affect your sovereignty, to control your peace, to govern your stability, to rule your calm, to command your serenity. You gave permission. You allowed transfer. You surrendered sovereignty. You ceded control. You relinquished power. Their criticism enters your emotional space, disturbs your peace, shakes your stability, disrupts your calm, destroys your serenity, shatters your tranquility, collapses your equilibrium, breaks your composure. How? You allowed it. You permitted it. You enabled it. You accepted it. You tolerated it. You surrendered sovereignty. They now control you. Control your emotional state. Control your inner peace. Control your mental stability. Control your psychological calm. Through sovereignty, you surrendered. Through control, you gave away. Through authority, you abandoned. Through power, you relinquished. This must end. This must stop. This must reverse. This must transform. Must reclaim sovereignty. Must take back control. Must reestablish authority. Must restore power. Must declare independence. Must establish boundaries. Must assert dominion. Must command rule. Your peace is sovereign. Nobody disturbs you without permission. Maintain emotional sovereignty absolutely. How sovereign immunity protects peace absolutely is foundational, is essential, is transformative, is liberating, is empowering, is protective, is armoring, Emotional sovereignty creates immunity, creates protection, creates armor, creates invulnerability, creates independence, creates autonomy, creates freedom, absolute armor, impenetrable armor, complete armor, perfect armor, total armor, supreme armor, sovereign armor. Sovereignty means self-rule, means self-determination, means self-control, means self-authority, means self-dominion, means self-governance, means self-command. Your emotional state is yours. Your peace is yours. Your stability is yours. Your calm is yours. Your serenity is yours. Your tranquility is yours. Your equilibrium is yours. Your composure is yours. Nobody else controls. Nobody else determines. Nobody else decides. Nobody else dictates. Nobody else governs. Nobody else rules. Nobody else commands. Unless you permit. Unless you allow. Unless you grant. Unless you surrender. Unless you give away. Unless you cede. Unless you relinquish. Maintain sovereignty. Maintain self-rule. Maintain self-determination. Maintain self-control. Maintain self-authority. Maintain self-dominion. Maintain self-governance. Criticism arrives. Your peace remains. Your choice. Your control. Your sovereignty. Your determination. Your authority. Your decision. Insult happens. Your stability maintained. Your choice. Your control. Your sovereignty. Your determination. Your authority. Your decision. Attack occurs. Your calm continues. Your choice. Your control. Your sovereignty. Your determination. Your authority. Your decision. This sovereignty is strongest armor, is absolute protection, is complete immunity, is perfect invulnerability, is total independence, is supreme autonomy, is sovereign freedom. Nobody controls you. Nobody disturbs you. Nobody affects you. Nobody governs you. Nobody rules you. Nobody commands you. Without your permission, without your consent, without your surrender, without your allowance, without your grant, without your ceding. Sovereignty maintained. Control preserved. Authority established. Power sustained. Dominion protected. Governance secured. Rule fortified. Armor complete. Immunity absolute. Invulnerability total. The mechanism of sovereign immunity is precise, is specific, is powerful, is absolute, is transformative. Sovereignty creates boundary, creates impenetrable boundary, creates absolute boundary, creates sovereign boundary, creates protected boundary, boundary between external and internal, between outside and inside, between them and you, between their words and your peace, between their criticism and your stability, between their attacks and your calm, between their judgments and your serenity. This boundary is fortress wall, is castle rampart, is city fortification, is sovereign border, is protected perimeter. Their words exist outside boundary, outside fortress, outside castle, outside city, outside sovereignty, outside domain. Their words remain external, remain outside, remain separate, remain in their space, remain in their domain, cannot cross boundary without permission, cannot breach fortress without allowance, cannot penetrate castle without consent, cannot invade city without surrender, cannot violate sovereignty without grant. You control boundary. You maintain fortress. You protect castle. You defend city. You preserve sovereignty. You decide what crosses. You determine what enters. You choose what affects. You select what disturbs. You control what governs. Criticism arrives at boundary, stops at boundary, waits at boundary, cannot cross boundary, cannot enter domain, cannot affect peace, cannot disturb stability, cannot shake calm, cannot destroy serenity. Unless you permit, unless you allow, unless you open gate, unless you lower drawbridge, unless you breach wall. Your choice, your control, your sovereignty, your power, your authority, your dominion. Implementation requires sovereignty declaration, requires boundary establishment, requires control assertion, requires authority claim, requires power reclamation, requires dominion construction, requires governance establishment. 3-step sovereignty protocol. Protocol is foundational, is essential, is powerful, is effective, is transformative, is liberating. Step 1. Declare emotional sovereignty. Declare explicitly. Declare verbally. Declare firmly. Declare repeatedly. Declare permanently. Declare absolutely. State sovereignty. State ownership. State control. State authority. State power. State dominion. State governance. My peace is mine. Nobody controls my emotional state but me. My stability is mine. Nobody determines my inner calm but me. My serenity is mine. Nobody dictates my mental state but me. My tranquility is mine. Nobody governs my psychological peace but me. My equilibrium is mine. Nobody rules my emotional balance but me. My composure is mine. Nobody commands my inner state but me. My emotional sovereignty is absolute. Nobody affects me without my permission. Declare sovereignty explicitly. State ownership clearly. Establish control firmly. Affirm authority strongly. Assert power definitely. Claim dominion absolutely. Proclaim governance completely. These declarations are powerful, are creative, are formative, are transformative, are liberating, are empowering, are sovereignizing. Saying my peace is mine creates ownership, creates sovereignty, creates control, creates authority, creates power, creates dominion. In mind, in perception, in experience, in reality, in truth, through language, through declaration, through statement, through affirmation, through establishment, through proclamation, must declare sovereignty, must state ownership, must establish control, must affirm authority, must assert power, must claim dominion, daily, morning, evening, before challenges, after attacks, repeatedly, consistently, permanently, absolutely, until sovereignty is established, until ownership is complete, until control is total, until authority is absolute, until power is supreme, until dominion is perfect. Step 2. Establish peace boundaries. Establish explicitly. Establish firmly. Establish clearly. Establish absolutely. Establish permanently. Establish non-negotiably. Create rules. Create laws. Create principles. Create standards. Create requirements. Create mandates. Create absolutes. Criticism does not disturb my peace. Insults do not shake my stability. Attacks do not disrupt my calm. Judgment does not destroy my serenity. Negativity does not shatter my tranquility. Condemnation does not collapse my equilibrium. Rejection does not break my composure. Establish boundaries. Create rules. Define limits. Set standards. Determine requirements. Declare mandates. Proclaim absolutes. Non-negotiable limits. Non-negotiable boundaries. Non-negotiable rules. Non-negotiable principles. Non-negotiable standards. Non-negotiable mandates. Non-negotiable absolutes. These boundaries protect sovereignty, protect peace, protect stability, protect calm, protect serenity, protect tranquility, protect equilibrium, protect composure. These boundaries are fortress walls, are castle ramparts, are city fortifications, are sovereign borders, are protected perimeters, cannot be negotiated, cannot be compromised, cannot be reduced, cannot be eliminated, cannot be violated, must be maintained, must be defended, must be protected, must be enforced, must be preserved, absolutely, permanently, non-negotiably. These boundaries are your sovereign right, your absolute authority, your perfect power, your supreme dominion, your complete governance, your total rule, your sovereign command. Nobody crosses boundaries without permission. Nobody violates rules without consent. Nobody breaks principles without allowance. Nobody ignores standards without surrender. Nobody dismisses requirements without grant. Boundaries maintained. Rules enforced. Principles preserved. Standards upheld. Requirements defended. Mandates protected. Absolutes secured. Through sovereignty. Through authority. Through power. Through dominion. Through governance. Through rule. Through command. Step 3. Maintain sovereignty during attacks. Maintain actively. Maintain consciously. Maintain deliberately. Maintain consistently. Maintain permanently. Maintain absolutely. When criticism arrives, remind yourself immediately. Remind explicitly. Remind firmly. Remind clearly. Remind powerfully. Remind sovereignly. My peace is sovereign. This criticism has no permission to disturb me. My peace is mine. This criticism has no authority to affect me. My peace is protected. This criticism has no power to penetrate me. My sovereignty is absolute. This criticism cannot control me. When insult happens, state internally immediately. State explicitly. State firmly. State clearly. State powerfully. My stability is mine. This insult has no authority to shake me. My stability is sovereign. This insult has no permission to disturb me. My stability is protected. This insult has no power to affect me. My sovereignty is maintained. This insult cannot govern me. When attack occurs, declare silently immediately. Declare explicitly. Declare firmly. Declare clearly. Declare powerfully. My serenity is protected. This attack has no power to disrupt me. My serenity is mine. This attack has no authority to destroy me. My serenity is sovereign. This attack has no permission to penetrate me. My sovereignty is absolute. This attack cannot rule me. Maintain sovereignty. Maintain control. Maintain authority. Maintain power. Maintain dominion. Maintain governance. Maintain rule. Every attack, every criticism, every insult, every judgment, every condemnation, every rejection, every negativity, immediate sovereignty reminder, immediate control assertion, immediate authority claim, immediate power declaration, immediate dominion establishment, immediate governance maintenance, immediate rule preservation. This creates absolute armor, creates complete immunity, creates total invulnerability, creates perfect protection, creates supreme independence, creates sovereign autonomy, through sovereignty, through self-rule, through self-determination, through self-control, through self-authority, through self-dominion, through maintained control, through preserved authority, through sustained power, through protected dominion, through secured governance, through fortified rule. Practice this protocol systematically. Practice daily. Practice consistently. Practice permanently. Practice absolutely. Practice sovereignly. Morning sovereignty declaration. Wake and declare, my peace is sovereign. My emotional state is mine. Nobody controls me without permission. Morning boundary establishment. Criticism does not disturb my peace. Attacks do not shake my stability. Judgment does not destroy my serenity. Morning sovereignty maintenance. I maintain my sovereignty absolutely today. I protect my peace perfectly today. I preserve my control completely today. Throughout day, sovereignty reminders. Before meetings, my peace is sovereign. Before difficult interactions, my stability is mine. After criticism, this does not affect me without permission. After attacks, this does not disturb me without consent. After judgment, this does not control me without allowance. Constant sovereignty reminders. Constant control assertions. Constant authority claims. Constant power declarations. Constant dominion establishments. Constant governance maintenance. Constant rule preservation. Evening sovereignty review. Did I maintain sovereignty today? Did I protect peace today? Did I preserve control today? Review honestly. Acknowledge successes. Learn from lapses. Strengthen sovereignty. Strengthen control. Strengthen authority. strength and power, strength and dominion, daily practice, daily sovereignty, daily control, daily authority, daily power, daily dominion, daily governance, daily rule, until sovereignty becomes permanent, until control becomes automatic, until authority becomes reflexive, until power becomes natural, until dominion becomes effortless, until governance becomes inherent, until rule becomes essence. This is sovereignty mastery. This is control perfection. This is authority supremacy. This is power absoluteness. This is dominion completeness. This is governance totality. This is rule sovereignty. Your peace is sovereign. Nobody disturbs you without permission. Maintain emotional sovereignty absolutely. You understand now that surrendering sovereignty gives critics control over your peace. You understand that emotional sovereignty creates absolute immunity through self-rule. You understand that three-step protocol maintains sovereignty through declaration and boundaries. Stop giving away emotional sovereignty to critics. Start claiming absolute control over your peace. Stop allowing others to disturb your stability. Start maintaining sovereign authority over your calm. Stop permitting criticism to govern your serenity. Start preserving complete dominion over your tranquility. Practice three-step protocol now. Declare sovereignty explicitly. My peace is mine. Nobody controls my emotional state but me. State daily, morning and evening, before and after challenges. Establish boundaries firmly. Criticism does not disturb my peace. Attacks do not shake my stability. Judgment does not destroy my serenity. Create non-negotiable rules. Maintain sovereignty during attacks. This criticism has no permission to affect me. My peace is sovereign. My control is absolute. Remind immediately upon criticism. This creates invulnerability, creates protection, creates armor, creates immunity, creates freedom, through sovereignty, through self-rule, through self-control. Starting today, practicing daily, maintaining permanently. You maintain sovereignty now. Finally, you must commit permanently. Chapter 10. Armor is permanent practice. Immunity requires daily forging. You build armor temporarily. Practice for weeks. Develop for months. Train for season. Build for period. Strengthen for time. Then stop. Stop practicing. Stop developing. Stop training. Stop building. Stop strengthening. Stop maintaining. Stop forging. Armor weakens. Protection degrades. Immunity fades. Invulnerability disappears. Sovereignty erodes. Strength diminishes. Resilience collapses. Vulnerability returns. That is the key. Armor is not permanent achievement, is not destination reached, is not status attained once, is not prize won, is not goal completed, is not accomplishment finished, is not milestone passed. Armor is permanent practice, is daily forging, is constant building, is forever training, is perpetual strengthening, is continuous maintaining, is endless developing, is permanent commitment. Stop practicing. Start weakening. Start degrading. Start fading. Start losing. Start eroding. Start diminishing. Start collapsing. This is law. This is reality. This is truth. This is mechanism. This is guarantee. This is inevitability. This is certainty. Armored people are not people who built once, are not people who trained previously, are not people who achieved years ago, are not people who completed long ago, are not people who finished and passed. Armored people are people who forge daily, who practice constantly, who build perpetually, who train continuously, who strengthen permanently, who maintain consistently, who develop endlessly. You need same understanding, same commitment, same permanence, same consistency, same dedication, same devotion, same perseverance. Armor is journey. Journey requiring daily practice. Journey requiring constant forging. Journey requiring permanent commitment. Journey requiring forever execution. Journey requiring perpetual dedication. Journey requiring endless maintenance. Forever. Consider why armor requires permanent practice. Consider adaptation mechanism. Consider maintenance requirement. Consider degradation reality. Consider biological truth. Consider psychological law. Consider neurological fact. Armor is adaptation. Psychological adaptation. Neurological adaptation. Emotional adaptation. Mental adaptation. Behavioral adaptation. Cognitive adaptation. Spiritual adaptation. Adaptation to criticism. Adaptation to attacks. Adaptation to judgment. Adaptation to rejection. Adaptation to condemnation. Adaptation to negativity. Adaptation to insults. Adaptation requires consistent stimulus, consistent challenge, consistent practice, consistent training, consistent exposure, consistent maintenance, consistent reinforcement. Remove stimulus. Adaptation reverses. Remove challenge. Capacity degrades. Remove practice. Strength weakens. Remove training. Ability diminishes. Remove exposure. Immunity fades. Remove maintenance. Armor collapses. Remove reinforcement. Vulnerability returns. Body adapts to exercise during training. Body adapts away from fitness during rest. Mind adapts to criticism during practice. Mind adapts away from armor during neglect. You trained armor for a month. Mind adapted. Built criticism resistance. Developed attack immunity. Created judgment tolerance. Established rejection invulnerability. Constructed condemnation protection. Month built adaptation. Then you stopped practicing. Stopped maintaining armor. Stopped exercising immunity. Stopped training resistance. Stopped developing tolerance. Stopped reinforcing invulnerability. Mind reversed adaptation. Lost criticism resistance. Degraded attack immunity. Destroyed judgment tolerance. Eliminated rejection invulnerability. Collapsed condemnation protection. Month of neglect reversed month of practice. Returned you to baseline. Returned you to vulnerable state. Returned you to unarmored condition. Returned you to defenseless position. Returned you to woundable reality. This reversal is guaranteed. This degradation is inevitable. This return is automatic. This collapse is certain. Without permanent practice. Without sustained maintenance. Without forever commitment. Without perpetual reinforcement. Without continuous training. Without endless development. Temporary practice creates temporary armor. Permanent practice creates permanent armor. You want permanent invulnerability. You need permanent practice. Accept this reality. Commit to this permanence. Execute this forever. Embrace this endlessness. Dedicate to this perpetuity. Armor is not achievement. Armor is daily practice. Forge immunity forever or remain vulnerable permanently. Daily non-negotiables: maintain armor. Maintain protection. Maintain immunity. Maintain invulnerability. Maintain sovereignty. Maintain strength. Maintain resilience. 5 practices. Every day. Forever. Without exception. Without excuse. Without skip. Without break. Without vacation. Without pause. Without cessation. First practice. Morning separation affirmation. Wake and state immediately. State first thing. State before anything else. State clearly. State firmly. State absolutely. I'm not my performance. I'm not my achievements. I'm not my results. I'm not my work. I'm not my output. I am not external. I am being. I am essence. I am self. Separate self from external. Establish identity independence. Create foundational armor. Affirm separation daily. Affirm distinction consistently. Affirm independence permanently. This morning affirmation establishes armor foundation. Establishes protection base. Establishes immunity core. Establishes invulnerability root. Establishes sovereignty essence. For entire day. For all interactions. For all criticisms. For all attacks. For all judgments. Morning separation creates daily armor. Creates daily protection. Creates daily immunity. Skip morning separation. Start day vulnerable. Start day defenseless. Start day unarmored. State morning separation. Start day protected. Start day armored. Start day invulnerable. Every morning. Every single morning. Without exception. Without skip. Forever. Second practice, projection analysis. Analyze one recent criticism, one recent attack, one recent judgment, one recent insult, one recent condemnation, one recent rejection. Every day, daily analysis, daily examination, daily understanding. Identify projection. Recognize projection mechanism. See projection operating. Understand critic's revelation. Perceive attacker's exposure. Comprehend judge's demonstration. What insecurity does this reveal? What fear does this expose? What wound does this demonstrate? What pain does this show? What shame does this display? Answer honestly. Answer completely. Answer insightfully. This daily analysis builds projection immunity, builds understanding armor, builds recognition protection, builds perception invulnerability. Daily practice, daily analysis, daily understanding, daily immunity building. This maintains projection armor, maintains understanding that criticism reveals critic, maintains recognition that attacks expose attacker, maintains perception that judgment demonstrates judge. Skip projection analysis. Begin forgetting mechanism. Begin losing understanding. Begin degrading immunity. Practice projection analysis. Maintain understanding. Maintain recognition. Maintain immunity. Every day, every single day, without exception, without skip, forever. Third practice, response control exercise. Practice deliberate response. Practice conscious choice. Practice intentional reaction. Practice sovereign decision. Every day, daily practice. Daily exercise. Daily training. Recall one attack from day. One criticism received. One judgment experienced. One insult heard. One condemnation faced. One rejection encountered. Practice deliberate response. Practice four-step protocol. Pause. Recognize power. Choose response. Execute choice. I pause before responding. I recognize my power to choose. I choose not to be affected. I execute my chosen response calmly. Practice protocol mentally. Practice protocol verbally. Practice protocol systematically. This daily practice builds response control muscle, builds choice power, builds sovereign authority, builds deliberate mastery. Daily practice, daily exercise, daily training, daily muscle building. This maintains response control armor, maintains choice protection, maintains sovereign immunity, maintains deliberate invulnerability. Skip response practice. Begin losing control. Begin degrading choice. Begin weakening sovereignty. Practice response control. Maintain mastery. Maintain authority. Maintain sovereignty. Every day, every single day, without exception, without skip, forever. Fourth practice, internal worth declaration. Declare internal worth. Declare self-sourced value. Declare autonomous confidence. Declare sovereign identity. Every day, daily declaration, daily affirmation, daily establishment. State explicitly, state clearly, state firmly, state absolutely. My worth is internal. My value is mine. My confidence is self-sourced. My identity is sovereign. My being is independent. My essence is autonomous. I am worthy because I exist. I am valuable because I am. I am enough because I breathe. Declare internal foundation. Declare self-sufficiency. Declare autonomy. Declare sovereignty. Daily declaration. Daily affirmation. Daily establishment. Daily reinforcement. This maintains internal worth armor. Maintains self-source protection. Maintains autonomous immunity. Maintains sovereign invulnerability. Skip internal declaration. Begin seeking external validation. Begin needing external approval. Begin depending on external acceptance. Declare internal worth. Maintain self-sufficiency. Maintain autonomy. Maintain sovereignty. Every day, every single day, without exception, without skip, forever. Fifth practice, sovereignty maintenance. Maintain emotional sovereignty. Maintain peace control. Maintain stability, authority. Maintain calm power. Every day, daily maintenance, daily reinforcement, daily preservation. State explicitly, state clearly, state firmly, state absolutely. My peace is sovereign. My emotional state is mine. Nobody controls me without permission. My stability is protected. My calm is maintained. My serenity is preserved. I am emotionally sovereign. Maintain sovereignty. Maintain control. Maintain authority. Maintain power. Daily maintenance. Daily reinforcement. Daily preservation. Daily establishment. This maintains sovereignty armor. Maintains control protection. Maintains authority immunity. Maintains power invulnerability. Skip sovereignty maintenance. Begin surrendering control. Begin giving away authority. Begin relinquishing power. Maintain sovereignty. Maintain control. Maintain authority. Maintain power. Every day, every single day, without exception, without skip, forever. Armor is not achievement. Armor is daily practice. Forge immunity forever or remain vulnerable permanently. 5 practices. Every day, forever. Morning separation affirmation. Projection analysis. Response control exercise. Internal worth declaration. Sovereignty maintenance. Execute all 5. Maintain armor. Sustain protection. Preserve immunity. Maintain invulnerability. Sustain sovereignty. Skip 1 practice. Begin losing capacity. Skip 1 day. Begin weakening armor. Skip 1 week. Degrade significantly. Skip 1 month. Return nearly to vulnerable baseline. The practices must be daily, must be permanent, must be forever, must be consistent, must be absolute, must be non-negotiable, must be mandatory. No breaks allowed. No exceptions permitted. No vacations granted. No pauses accepted. No cessations tolerated. Daily practice forever. This is price of permanent armor. This is cost of sustained immunity. This is requirement of maintained invulnerability. This is demand of protected sovereignty. This is necessity of preserved strength. Pay price daily. Maintain armor permanently. Skip payment. Lose armor immediately. The exchange is fair. The requirement is clear. The choice is yours. The decision is definite. The commitment is absolute. Practice daily, forever, and maintain permanently. Or stop practicing and lose everything. Choose wisely. Choose daily practice. Choose permanent commitment. Choose forever execution. Choose absolute dedication. Choose perpetual maintenance. This choice creates permanent armor, creates sustained immunity, creates lifetime invulnerability, creates eternal protection, creates perpetual sovereignty through daily practice that never stops, through permanent commitment that never wavers, through forever execution that never pauses. After months of daily practice, transformation occurs. Transformation from building armor to being armored. You're not practicing immunity. You're an immune person, not trying to have armor. You're an armored being, not attempting invulnerability. You're an invulnerable individual, not developing protection. You're a protected nature, not creating defense. You are defensive identity, not training resilience. You are resilient essence, not strengthening sovereignty. You are sovereign self. The practice shaped being. The repetition formed identity. The consistency created nature. The permanence established essence. Being now dominates. Being now determines. Being now controls. Being now operates. Being now functions. Being now exists. Criticism arrives. No conscious defense needed. Armor functions automatically. Immunity operates reflexively. Invulnerability responds naturally. Protection activates effortlessly. Sovereignty maintains automatically. Defense executes reflexively. not through effort, not through struggle, not through conscious practice, not through deliberate action, not through intentional response, through being, through identity, through nature, through essence, through character, through self, through transformation, from building armor to being armored, from practicing immunity to being immune, from training invulnerability to being invulnerable, from developing protection to being protected, from creating defense to being defended, from strengthening sovereignty to being sovereign. This is goal. This is destination. This is achievement. This is mastery. This is completion. This is perfection. Through permanent practice, through daily forging, through forever commitment, through perpetual maintenance, through continuous development, through endless reinforcement, that transforms doing into being, that transforms practice into nature, that transforms training into identity, that transforms building into essence. Permanently, completely, absolutely, perfectly, sovereignly. Armor is not achievement. Armor is daily practice. Forge immunity forever or remain vulnerable permanently. You understand now that armor requires permanent practice, not temporary achievement. You understand that capacity degrades without sustained daily execution. You understand that 5 daily practices maintain invulnerability forever. Stop viewing armor as temporary goal. Start viewing armor as permanent practice. Stop practicing inconsistently. Start practicing daily without exception. Stop seeking breaks from forging. Start embracing forging as permanent lifestyle. 5 practices. Every day. Forever. Morning separation affirmation. Projection analysis. Response control exercise. Internal worth declaration. Sovereignty maintenance. Execute all 5. Daily. Permanently. Successfully. Consistently. Relentlessly. Absolutely. Sovereignly. This maintains armor. Sustains immunity. Ensures permanent invulnerability. Preserves protection. Protects sovereignty. Enables peace. Produces strength. Creates mastery. Through practice that never stops. Through execution that never pauses. Through commitment that never ends. Through dedication that never wavers. Through maintenance that never sleeps. Through forging that never ceases. Train permanently. Remain armored permanently. Stay immune permanently. Preserve invulnerability permanently. Maintain sovereignty permanently. Excel permanently. Master permanently. This is standard. This is requirement. This is reality of permanent armor. Accept it. Commit to it. Live it. Execute it. Practice it. Maintain it. Forever. Through 5 practices. Every day. Without exception. Without excuse. Without skip. Without break. Without pause. Without cessation. This creates permanent armor. This sustains iron immunity. This ensures lifetime invulnerability. This preserves eternal protection. This maintains absolute sovereignty. Through permanent practice of armor mastery that never ends. You commit to permanent practice now. You have learned 10 principles. You are mentally vulnerable, recognize defenseless state. Separate self from performance. You are not achievements. Understand projection. Critics reveal themselves. Control response, not input. Master what you can. Build self-worth from within, never from validation. Develop emotional distance. Observe without absorbing. Use criticism as data. Extract value. Discard poison. Practice preemptive desensitization. Train immunity before attack. Maintain emotional sovereignty. Your peace is non-negotiable. Armor requires permanent practice. Forge immunity daily, forever. These principles transform vulnerable into armored. Transform defenseless into protected. Transform woundable into immune. Transform sensitive into invulnerable. Transform controllable into sovereign. But principles mean nothing without implementation, without daily practice, without permanent commitment, without consistent execution, without relentless dedication, without absolute maintenance, without perpetual forging. You must execute, must practice, must commit, must maintain, must forge, must protect, starting now, starting today, starting permanently, starting forever. Morning separation, daily projection analysis, response control practice, internal worth declaration, sovereignty maintenance, daily, forever, without exception. This is mental armor. This is psychological immunity. This is emotional invulnerability. This is sovereign protection. Stop being mentally vulnerable. Start building mental armor. The transformation awaits your commitment. Your immunity awaits your practice. Your invulnerability awaits your training. Your sovereignty awaits your maintenance. Execute now. Separate self. Understand projection. Control response. Build internal worth. Develop distance. Extract data. Train exposure. Maintain sovereignty. Forge daily. Build mental armor through permanent practice. Through systematic training. Through forever commitment to immunity that achievement requires. Through perpetual maintenance that invulnerability demands. Forever. You have learned 10 principles that forge mental armor. You are mentally vulnerable, recognized defenseless state. Separate self from performance. You are not achievements. Understand projection. Critics reveal themselves. Control response, not input. Master what you can. Build self-worth from within, never from validation. Develop emotional distance. Observe without absorbing. Use criticism as data. Extract value. Discard poison. Practice preemptive desensitization. Train immunity before attack. Maintain emotional sovereignty. Your peace is non-negotiable. Armor requires permanent practice. Forge immunity daily, forever. But here is what matters now. What you do today, not tomorrow, not when ready. Today, right now, you have a choice. Continue being vulnerable and being wounded forever. Or start building armor immediately and becoming invulnerable. The building begins with action. State separation today. I am not my performance. Establish foundation. Create first armor layer. Analyze one criticism today. Identify projection. See critic revealing themselves. Build projection immunity. Declare sovereignty today. My peace is mine. Nobody controls my emotional state but me. Establish boundaries. Claim control. Practice response mastery today. Choose one reaction deliberately. Control consciously. Train power. 5 practices. Every day. Forever. These are not suggestions. These are commands. Stop accepting vulnerability. Start forging armor. The transformation awaits your commitment. Your immunity awaits your practice. Your invulnerability awaits your training. Execute now. Separate self. Understand projection. Control response. Build internal worth. Develop distance. Extract data. Train exposure. Maintain sovereignty. Forge daily. Build mental armor through permanent practice. Through systematic training. Through forever commitment to immunity that achievement requires. Build now. Practice daily. Forge armor. Forever.